Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Fletch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party. Guys, that is the best part, so make sure you're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. Oh, we got Morty jumping in early. Co-host Morty. And speaking of which, if you would like to support the channel, head on over to TheIndianJesus.com for your very own official merch, including the Morty and Me South Park hoodie. Only at TheIndianJesus.com. Guys, we do also have a Discord server. It's like a giant group chat, 24/7. We're in there hanging out, having a good time. It is a great place to meet new people, have interesting conversations, and it is absolutely free to join. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can scroll right below the video, hit that join button. There's a few different tiers here, but it starts at just $2.99 a month. Gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it opens up the full Discord server. So there's more than just the free channel. There is a free channel, but we also have other text channels and the after party voice channel. So as soon as we are done here on YouTube, heading over there, and we don't have to worry about any YouTube censors, and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good time. Definitely come join us. Shout out to Jeff in the building. We got Michael in the building, and welcome, King Nirvana. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Jeff is saying, got my stickers. You are very welcome, sir. That is right. If you send me an email at TheIndianJesusOfficial@gmail.com, I will send you some free stickers. Glad you got them. Glad you enjoyed them. So, I am excited. I am excited because I never really got the opportunity to officially step back and say, oh, I'm not covering Andrew Tate anymore because he is a scumbag. You know, I got that opportunity with Destiny after the Corey Comparte comments, let's say. But yeah, with Andrew Tate, once I was over the line of like, oh, okay, this guy is for real scumbag scummery, I just kind of moved away. And then he just kind of disappeared into the ether. Except for the other day, 3 days ago, Benny Johnson decided that it would be a good idea to have him on, and not only Andrew Tate, but bring on Abby, I forget what her name is, but Trump's lawyer. And they are yucking it up, and it is not a good look. It is not a good look. Shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome to the party. Always good to see you guys. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
Andrew Tate, top G from the podium.
From the podium, yeah, because I'm basically de facto the Prime Minister of the UK currently.
This is the seal of the UK government? Is that in front of
It's the seal of the Bruv Party. This is Britain restoring underlying values. So that's my seal and that's my party, and we're going to take control of the UK government and save it from the decimation that it's currently facing.
I am so embarrassed that I used to look at that dude and be like, oh, he's got some great stuff to say. What an awesome dude. And for a long time, I believed that. Even after the arrest, I was like, oh no, they're coming after him, whatever. But then eventually it gets so clear that he's an ex-trafficker and a fraudster, at least. And I do not know. I did say on the very first time we ever covered Andrew Tate, I did say that, I don't know much about his legal stuff. I knew that he did like all the cam girl things. And I said two things: that it makes perfect sense to me that somebody like that would have false allegations of all the stuff that he's done. It also makes a lot of sense that somebody would have true allegations of what people were saying. And back then we didn't know, but now we know. And now apparently he's running for UK Parliament.
I got to tell you, Andrew, this is a first for our program, and we love the podium look. It's very official, and we look forward to getting into your politics and into your race and into your brand new party. However, massive breaking news here stateside is, of course, the sentencing of President Trump, now a convicted felon. you know so very much about this, but whether it be you or Marine Le Pen in France or Bolsonaro in Brazil or President Trump here in America, there seems to be a global fight against the freedom movement, against populism and against free speech and free thinkers.
So you can see how it's being framed. Oh, Donald Trump had lawfare against him, and Andrew Tate also got arrested. Therefore, they're the same. Not in my house, bruh. Not in my house.
Yourself have been a victim of this, and so I wanted to set the table for you to sound off on your take. President Trump being sentenced today.
Yeah, that was a foregone conclusion. Anyone who believed that jury selection had anything to do with the decision that they were going to come up with for President Trump is extremely childish.
And see, that's true. There's going to be a lot of things that Andrew Tate says here that I agree with. The difference is now I can agree with, it's the old Hitler had dogs thing.
That's not how these things work. When you plan an assassination, you don't plan to break into somebody's house and then forget to plan how to do the murder. They had decided to find him guilty of a crime. They decided to make it all up. They decided to find a corrupt judge, and they decided to find a corrupt jury. The only reason they gave him the sentence they gave him is because he won the election. Otherwise, he'd be looking at the rest of his life in jail. It's absolutely disgusting. And I don't know how anybody left on the planet is looking at these criminal cases and seems to think it's anything to do with law and order.
See what he's doing? These criminal cases, you lay out the case that, oh, they treated Trump so unfairly. See how they do this to us?
And it's not simply just the Matrix trying to influence and keep control of the populations by destroying the head of the snake. Anybody who's truly large and has a huge platform who speaks in a way that they fear is going to catch a criminal case.
So Donald Trump caught 7 criminal cases, and they've all been atomized now. And I think that this will be overturned on a appeal. However, it did the damage and it had the intended effect. Do you believe that their intention was to kill President Trump in prison, either by having him live out his days in prison or through some type of Jeffrey Epstein means?
Yeah, their intention was to lock him up and put him in jail. And also their intention is to make sure that they can slander him permanently, which is what they do to me. A lot of people.
There it is again. We should have a counter. We should have a counter for every time he tries to put himself in the same camp as Trump.
Even on the conservative side are still childish enough, post all of these Trump accusations, post COVID, post all the lies they've told us for all of this time, to sit and say, Andrew said something bad on the internet 10 years ago, so he's actually a bad person.
That's not what we're mad about, bro. It's the 15-year-olds you were trafficking. When Trump does stuff like that, trust me, I will call him out as well.
That's not how this works. What they do is they slander you and they trial you by media so that every time your name is said, they do not talk about your points of view and they do not talk about your accomplishments. They talk about what you are accused of. That's
true. But again, in one case, somebody was accused of something they actually did and one wasn't.
the primary objective. So they don't have to say Donald Trump, former president, who tried to save the economy. They say Donald Trump, rapist, or Donald Trump, convicted felon. It just gives them a way to deflect from somebody's actual achievements. And that's the primary objective of all of these things. And the same thing has happened to me. So their intention was to lock him up, put him in jail forever. But outside of that, they also want this thing that can constantly parade around and pretend it means something. I don't think convicted felon means anything anymore. I don't care that he's a convicted felon at all, because it was a kangaroo court and it was a setup. And I know it was a setup because I've been set up.
There it is again.
All of it is. And they can find any person on the planet. I want to make something clear to everybody at home. Every single man who is watching this now is guilty of something. If they get a prosecutor and they say, get him, you're guilty of something. You forgot to dot an I, you forgot to cross a T, you slept with a girl in high school, doesn't matter what it was.
The only time I slept with a girl in high school is when I was in high school. Can you say the same?
They'll find it, they'll lie, they'll slander you via the media. And the saddest thing is that people on the conservative side believe this garbage. They believe this crap that comes.
Correct. We believe facts. When the facts came out about Trump, we believed the facts that he was innocent. When the facts came out about your case, we believed the facts that you're a sex trafficker.
Comes out of the mainstream media. It's a setup. It's find the person, I'll find the crime. And it's all a foregone conclusion in kangaroo courts.
Yeah. Maybe you can
Yeah. That's it. That's all Benny Johnson's got to say.
speak to that on a grander sense, because I do note this. Even today, there are conservatives that are, oh, Pete Hegseth. Oh, wow, he said or did something. Oh, he did something so naughty. We got to pull Pete Hegseth. He can't be Secretary of Defense because of something that happened 10 years ago. Or Brett Kavanaugh. He's currently on the Supreme Court. He's somebody who voted against President Trump being sentenced today, saying this is totally out of order for you to sentence someone who's about to become president, the chief executive, in 10 days. So Brett Kavanaugh was
10 days left, guys. 10 days. Really quick, if you guys do me a huge favor and hit that like button, I would very much appreciate it.
They did a number on him. And this is kind of the playbook, right, against Kavanaugh. And there are still Republicans and conservatives today who who clutch pearls over these things. And I think that
we're clutching pearls over the fact that you ran through a 15-year-old and then ran her through a different state.
Useful idiots.
Oh, they are useful idiots. But the reason we've been getting destroyed by some of the least competent members of society is this pathetic grandstanding from people on the conservative side who cry their eyes out that 10 years ago someone made a joke on the internet.
No, again, it was the 15-year-old.
Or 10 years ago somebody slept with a girl.
Yep, correct, because that girl was 15.
We need to grow up. We need to all grow up and understand that nobody is perfect.
Except the girls that you want to sleep with.
Perfect. And that this is about the politics and not the politician. It's about what someone's views are and how competent they are in their job. We're the only people who are policing our own side with these ridiculous moral standards, while the other team will let felons, thieves, drug addicts, it doesn't matter what they do, come in and abuse the law to destroy us.
Are you saying we should be like them? Are you saying we shouldn't care about crime and law and order and decency? And is that the bruv party? Oh, I mean, not winning my vote so far, man.
Drug addicts, it doesn't matter what they do, come in and abuse the law to destroy us. And then
we need to be just like them.
We want to sit there and wonder why we're permanently losing. 10 years ago, did I make inappropriate jokes on the internet? Yes. Am I sorry? No. We're grown-ups. It was 10 years.
Well, the girl you slept with wasn't.
Get over it. I don't want to be seen as a squeaky clean good guy, because those squeaky clean good guys do nothing to aid the fight. They sit and hide at home, waiting to be told what to do by the Democrats. It's men like me who are prepared to go to jail. Men like me who are prepared to go arrested.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're doing crimes, you should be prepared to pay the consequences.
Men like me are prepared to lose their life and lose access to their children. And men like me make...
You're willing to lose access to your children. Okay, dude.
Jokes that aren't necessarily kosher all of the time. So did Trump. He said, grab her by the pussy.
There it is again. Me and Trump, we're the same. We're exactly the same, bro.
Jokes that aren't necessarily kosher all of the time. So did Trump. He said, grab her by the pussy. I don't care. And
actually, no, he said they let you grab them by the pussy. Get it right, bro. Get it right. What are we doing here?
Neither should any conservative. These people who are crying and complaining and whining their eyes out with this false virtue, the worst thing about it, in my experience, is that these people are often the most dirty of them all. As if they're not jerking off the porn at night, as if they're fucking perfect people. The whole thing is a setup and it's a lie.
That may be the biggest projection we have ever gotten on this channel. They act like they're perfect people. All I ever did was tell a joke and they came after me.
Jerking off the porn at night as if they're fucking perfect people. The whole thing is a setup and it's a lie. And they need to be more mature. I have been investigated for the last 4 years by 3 different federal agencies. If I had done anything wrong, I'd be in jail.
So you're not under house arrest right now?
If I had done anything embarrassing to me or anything that was morally reprehensible, it would have been leaked by now.
It's out there, bro. People have the court papers. I don't know what you're talking about.
What have they found? 10 years ago, I made a joke on the internet. If that's the reason you think I can't help you keep your children safe from being castrated, then you're a fool.
Nope, it's because you sleep with children. That's why.
This has backfired. And it's backfired in your case. It's backfired in Brazil. It's backfiring in France. It's backfiring wherever they're trying these tactics. And you can see the backfire here. This is the hardest image that has ever gone, ever, Andrew. They made him they gave him a rap cover. They gave him a rap album, is what they did. All you need to do is add a parental advisory sticker to the corner of that, and you have the banger of the summer.
That's the joke everybody was making in the summer.
Absolutely.
I like Benny. I like Benny, but I just, what is happening here?
I'm a little bit jealous. I mean, I had a couple good ones, but of course I'm happy to lose to Trump. He's the OG. So
it literally sounds like 2 teenage boys.
Problem.
Can you talk through this backfire? Many, including some people who served in his administration who were on the stream before you, and also including Trump's legal advisors, have said that he wouldn't have had that this made his case so strong in 2024, that perhaps these are the reason that he won in 2024. So the backfire has been utterly spectacular here. Maybe you can, and you've experienced it yourself, quite frankly.
Again, nope, not quite.
Can you dissect why? Why has the backfire happened, and why has it been so profound?
Yeah, so this is a double-edged sword. There's good and bad. It backfires in the high-profile cases where you have a man who's prepared to suffer enough to beat them and stand up and not show cowardice. Because Trump could have easily backed down or showed weakness and destroyed his name, as could I. That's what they wanted me to do when they threw me in a Romanian dungeon, was to destroy my own brand by showing weakness, because they didn't think I could handle Romanian solitary confinement.
It worked. It worked. No, nobody over the age of 16 like Andrew Tate anymore.
And they got proved wrong. So in certain scenarios where you have exceptional men who are prepared to do the right thing, it backfires. However, I think the truly heinous thing about this scenario is that this isn't just happening to high-profile men. Unfortunately, our kangaroo courts are also locking up a whole bunch of good, honest men who do not have the profile and perhaps do not have the mental strength to resist these things, to lose their job, to lose their wife, to lose their house, to lose everything, to lose years of their life, to not see their children, to be falsely accused. I would argue a lot of the J6ers are in exactly that scenario. And the most disgusting thing about this is not that it backfires on men like Trump, backfires on men like me. The actual truly heinous
there it is again
thing is that it doesn't backfire on all the forgotten men we cannot name who are currently considering suicide inside of prison cells right now. And that's why this must end and must change immediately. It's disgusting. Trump's victory saved the Western world. I don't think anybody actually understands that if Trump had lost, it would be over. It would be done. You may as well learn Chinese or Russian, because it's finished. And now we have 4 years to truly mop up and clean this mess before they all come back.
Again, like anybody can say, broken clocks right twice a day. So yeah, I completely agree. That doesn't mean you didn't do what you did.
David Hogg has managed to put his dildo down long enough to end up DNC chair. So these little clowns are coming back. They're not going anywhere. And I only pray that Republicans can grow a backbone, stop crying their eyes out over old videos I made, and understand sometimes you have to be a bad guy to do the right thing, like Batman. And we need to clean the swamp, lock these people up, teach them all a lesson, because they're going to resurge. And when they do, they will not have mercy.
So first you're Neo from the Matrix, and now you're fucking Batman. Cringe.
This was it's amazing shout out, because it's a clip that we often play. I'm not sure we have it ready, but President Trump looks at a little kid when he's running for president and goes, "I'm Batman." It's right before he takes off in his private helicopter. It is what people want right now. President Trump certainly wasn't perfect when he entered, and that's actually what people want. They want a brawler and a bare knuckle fighter, because we are fighting evil people, and evil doesn't rest.
That's right. So, this is the thing I have to make clear, because arguing with the liberals is absolutely fine. But when the conservatives cry their eyes out over me, 10 years ago, you said women couldn't drive. I'll say it again right now. I don't like women driving cars. I'd rather drive it myself. You can cry your eyes out all you want. I'm a professional fighter, and we're in a professional fight. This is what I do. If you're going to cry your eyes out over these stupid little things, realizing that we're arguing and combating people who literally want to make you a slave, who want to take your children from you, who want to inject you with poison, and you're going to cry your eyes out over a joke 10 years ago, then you're not in the fight. You're not in the battle. You're a traitor. You need to understand there are bigger things than sitting around being offended by everything. We have a war to win.
If this was as far as it went, we would not even be talking about this. But he just Andrew Tates himself on a little bit more. And then something came, something that I did not expect. What do we got here? Where is it?
Those are the policies of the Bruv Party.
Oh, let's wait. I want to hear the Bruv Party policies. Let's hear what that is. Oh, what happened here? Oh, come on. Don't struggle.
Morality is such a funny conversation. Is it moral to do the right thing by a criminal if that criminal then murders 10 more people? Understand how these Democrat-run cities don't yet understand it. And hopefully this wildfire will wake them up. Because the people who are invading the United States do not love America. They see it as a place they can extract value from. They see it as a whore they can rape. That's what they see it as. And they see every single person inside of it as the exact same thing.
So yeah, everything we skipped was just more of him vamping and kind of saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. Gomzak said, meme writing sure can be gross. As gross as being woke, I'm sure we'll find out soon. I hope not. I hope not.
And unless we grow a backbone and
I don't
start
wanna
laying
find
down the line and making it clear, if you don't love England, you shouldn't be there. If you don't love America, you shouldn't be there. You could be any skin color. You could be any religion, but you better love this place. You better love the place you're in. You want to come to our country, run your mouth, intend on robbing everybody you can, disrespect us, disrespect the natives, disrespect the law enforcement, and then we're going to sit there as conservatives like dumbasses and go, oh, well, it's free speech. These people will kill you. We need to lay lines. There has to be lines in the sand because otherwise we are going to lose. I tell you, when I'm in charge of Great Britain, anybody who's disrespecting our flag,
here we go.
Anybody
the
is instantly
policies.
and permanently
The bruv policies. Bruv, don't you want to be a bruv?
deported. Anybody.
So those are the policies of the Bruv Party.
We went backwards for that. We went backwards to hear that. Anybody who doesn't do what I've said, you're getting out.
I guess you could call it. England first. Andrew, we have a special guest that is joining us right now. Somebody who noticed that you would be on our show and wanted to say hello. This is the attorney for President Trump, somebody who has been a fighter for the America First Party. Her name is Alina Habba, and she joins us live right now.
Now, again, I very much appreciate, I don't know much about her personally, but I very much appreciate all the lawfare that Trump has gone through and the fact that he's basically beaten all of this. That being said,
Hi.
Hello, Alina.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice
Big
to meet
fan.
you. I'm a fan. You're the one saving Trump. You're doing more important work than me.
that we can agree on.
America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said. And
You agree with everything he just said? You're Trump's lawyer. And you're saying, yep, you guys, you're the same. How do you do any worse of a PR move than tie Trump to Tate any more than it needs to be? Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you guys. Yo, let's wake up. Can we get some chats? Can we get some likes? What are we doing here?
I think that your anger is the same that President Trump has for our country. And
again, maybe it is the same anger, but that doesn't mean the situations are the same. And I can hear that and give the nuance there that, okay, the fears may be the same, but the situations are not the same. And when Trump's lawyer is saying, oh, yeah, we're just alike, that's bad.
anger is the same that President Trump has for our country. And the time is now for us to stop being wimps. I think that's exactly the right sentiment. And I also have to say that I sympathize with you because I think you go through a lot of the same, show me the person, I'll find the crime that President Trump has gone through. And it's ironic that Benny has you on today because, as you know, President Trump just got sentenced in what literally will be one of the most tragic stories in American history and democracy and the justice system that I used to be proud of being a part of. But I agree with everything you say, and I have your—
Not just what you've said today, but I agree with everything that you say, says Trump's lawyer.
You're back out here in the States. And when I saw that you were going to be on, I said to Benny, I have to meet Andrew Tate. There is literally only one person with the same amount of anger and fire, and that's probably me and President Trump. But it's because you love what's right. And you're being under siege, and I see it. And just keep fighting. I mean, I'm here for it. You know, there is no time anymore for weakness. We are being destroyed, and we need strong, powerful voices like yours. And yeah, I got your back over here.
Oof. And I can understand how maybe if you don't know the ins and the outs, Andrew Tate is very good at twisting the narrative and being like, oh, it's just because I made jokes. It's this one video where I was sleeping with that girl and this and that and that and that. That's not what it is. But if you're going to be on the screen with him, you need to know because everybody else does. And I'm surprised I haven't heard more about this in the last 3 days from the left.
Well, I tell you what,
If only because Andrew Tate is so irrelevant these days.
and if I ever get stateside, and I think I will sooner or later, if I ever need a lawyer, I'll be calling your phone. But you know, it's very important. It's very important, and this is something we need to understand because when you're animated or when you're angry, people call you hateful, and that's one of the semantic tricks I was discussing earlier that the left love to use. You're not
Semantic obfuscation.
hateful if you love something. They'll call you hateful of whatever. They'll call you hateful of immigrants, but it's not hateful of immigrants. It's love for your country. They will take your love and turn it into hate. This is a semantic trick. Do not let these people tell you you're a hateful person for loving something and wanting to stick up for something and being passionate about something. This is one of the tricks they use most often. And they say it to me all the time. You're so animated, you're so angry, you're full of hate. I said, actually, what I am is full of love and I'm full of principles and I'm prepared to suffer. And that's the difference.
Shout out to Arrow. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Said couldn't answer the poll. So let's go over that. I was asking, is Trump's legal situation analogous to Andrew Tate's? Yes or no? I said I couldn't answer. I only have a regard for Andy because he adopts pit bull terriers and because of his lips. Oh, I mean, I guess that's fair. I don't know what that has to do with the legal situations being same or different. But, you know, I guess if you put that higher than sex trafficking, then whatever floats your boat.
I said, actually, what I am is full of love and I'm full of principles and I'm prepared to suffer.
Full of principles, right? I disagree.
And that's the difference.
Yeah, that is the difference. And I think that when I come outside of courtrooms, I'm obviously known for these things. And now I hope to be doing it outside the White House on the front lawn. And I'll tell you right now, that's a love. That's a love for our country and a love for what's right. And I am sick and tired of people trying to take it away from us and then pretending they love our country. And that is the damn truth. That is what this administration has done. I've had quite enough of it. And that is why I frankly chose to go into the White House.
You said, you know, you just know you're in a conversation with Tate. He's spitting all over you. It could either be that or you're a 15-year-old girl that he trafficked. Dylan said Tate is just one of those guys who gets lumped into MAGA. In reality, he says a few decent things from time to time and was praised for it. Yep, that is it. And that's a big thing that we need to understand about political movements, and something that I have, I continue to need to relearn, that just because you're aligned with politically with someone on something doesn't mean you're the same person. And the anti-wokeness thing is where I first really got this lesson, that I assumed that because we were all in the same boat of like, oh, we hate wokeness, we want to get rid of wokeness, that everybody else that was in that same boat felt the same way. And then as wokeness, you know, started to fade, and it's definitely still there, but the agenda is a lot weaker than it was 2, 3, 5 years ago. As that has changed, other issues have risen to the top, and I don't necessarily agree with a lot of people on a lot of things. So I'm definitely going back to I don't like using the word conservative anymore. I'm going back to politically homeless or post-liberal or something like that. But I'm MAGA for sure. I'm not conservative. I said I don't care about his criminal abstract anymore. And then I care about Cosby's that stuff. Yeah, well, I mean, they're both bad. You don't have to say either Andrew Tate is bad or Cosby is bad. They're both bad, unquestionably, at least in my opinion. I don't know.
White House.
So let's do this poll is pretty strong. You guys are saying no, that it is not analogous, and again, I very much agree. So let's do another poll here, based on I'll just put it up.
Has done. I've had quite enough of it, and that is why I frankly chose to go into the White House. I'm so excited to have a say now to help America from inside, and I will tell you that I am going to do everything I can to make sure that what happened today never ever happens again. It is a disgusting situation. Everybody's called me names for years, Andrew, just like you. It doesn't matter. You call me names, that means I'm effective. You tell me that I'm angry, it only means that I'm passionate. And if you're afraid of
that is true in a certain sense, but not everybody who has mean things said about them have things said about them because they're right. Sometimes people say not nice things because you're a not nice person. When boys being boys goes wrong. Yup. I said I'd be bored to tears without bad men. I'm sure you would, but that's you. That's fair. You stay on your side, and I am not breaking for this dude.
With me, you will do all of those things, and they should be, because I truly care for America first, just like President Trump. And I've been frankly honored with every hit piece that they hit me with. Isn't that right, Benny? You know, they hit me hard, but I just keep going. It doesn't affect me.
Look at him cheesing, bro. What a geek.
If anything, makes me stronger. So I admire you. I admire what you're doing. I'm right there with you. And yeah, you're good. If you're in the States, I got your back.
Well,
Dylan said, meanwhile, I watched that Andrew Tate impersonator, Bottom G. I have not heard of Bottom G. This I need to experience right now. Bottom G. Oh, is it all music? If someone can get me a link for that, that would be amazing. I would love to see whatever you're talking about. I have not heard about that. Hey, look, it's me.
Or what you're doing, I'm right there with you. And
I mean, same, bro, same.
And yeah, you're good. If you're in the States, I got your back.
Well, I cannot wait to come home. I have to deal with, you've seen it in New York, but I promise you the only place worse is Romania. You would not believe the stories I will one day tell.
You mean like the stories that you used to tell about how great Romania is because the laws are this and that and you can do whatever you want. Can you know? Apparently not.
Yeah, No, I've been watching and it's very clear what the...
Oof. I was just trying to be charitable to her. Maybe she doesn't really know the ins and outs of the situation and whatever. I've been watching and it's very clear.
Is it though? Problem is you have a strong voice, you have a lot of followers, you are much like President Trump in that way. You have influence, and when people have influence, they have to fight harder.
God.
And unfortunately, you are a victim of that. I see it. That doesn't make you a victim. You're a strong person, but they'll hit you as hard as they possibly can because of that. And it's a disgrace what they're doing. Obviously I don't know the facts of your case, but I know that they probably...
Okay, at least she doesn't. At least she's not saying this knowing the facts of the case. Let's take a quick detour to something that I just stumbled upon right before this. What was it? Tree of Logic. Tree of Logic is what I'm looking for. Where we at? Come on. Tell me I didn't save this shit. Hold on. There we go.
Ladies and
so this is some chick that is sharing a Twitter space that they both
anything right now.
Both Tristan and Andrew Tate are here trying to bring up more excitement for them, and somebody came in with some receipts and they did not like it.
Flabbergasted. Truthfully, how I've become Earth's main character, where we have bimbos globally discussing me, pedophile accounts dedicated to try to take me down.
Yeah, because that's who you are. Shout out to Giggling Spy. Welcome to the party. Said it was odd hearing a lawyer say, I agree with everything you say. I've never known anyone I agree with 100% of the time. Yeah, it's so reckless. It's so reckless. I'm surprised that we haven't seen this blow up in the worst possible way. Like your lawyer is there saying, "Oh yeah, Andrew Tate, you're just like Trump." No, you're not. That's not good. Yeah, she was a Destiny orbiter. There's some good and bad that comes from that side of the aisle. And I mean, just looking for the clip here, but either way, Arrow said Andrew's family was a harsh taskmaster. He was a little boy forced into chess. Oh no, not chess. I have a bit of compassion for the lad, but no sympathy whatsoever. Fair enough. Very fair.
Incredible. For 3 years, it's fucking crazy. And everyone's like, did Tate do it? Did Tate do it? Fucking, why any of you give a fuck? I'm quite humbled, to be honest. Why?
Cope harder. Yeah, you guys just are only talking about my international crimes because you're losers.
Some chick somewhere is going to sit 3 years after an arrest and talk about me. I'm so adored. I'm so loved. It's incredible. So, I've just joined the space. I'm not sure what the premise is, if Tate was guilty or not. I guess you're all going to have to continue to tune into the Tate Show, otherwise known as Planet Earth. But I am humbled and very thankful to the haters, which keep this conversation alive, because the worst case scenario for me would have been to go to jail and deal with this crap and nobody talk about it and be stuck not being able to monetize it and utilize it. But the haters allow me.
All right, he's just
makes it very the initial they want the Romanian time in jail. But baby to my criminal case, your criminal cases. I don't. I mean, me personally, I'm busy getting rich, so I don't give a f about any of your criminal cases. I don't know who you are, what cases
People have been holding space for Andrew Tate. Good one.
you're going through. I got shit to do. So.
Man.
All right. Appreciate you coming on the panel, Andrew. We got Murder by Crayons who wants to pose a question. So, Crayons, go ahead.
Shout out to Murder by Crayons.
Yeah, nice pedophile.
Yeah. Speaking of pedophiles, you've been charged with a 15-year-old. That's why you're on house arrest, and you're lying to your family, and you know it. And you know it.
Hello, friend.
So, yeah, let's talk about
You're probably
pedophiles.
one of my most. You're one of my most dedicated fans. I haven't been charged with that.
You have been
crime,
charged. I
personally.
have the documents. I have the documents. You've been charged.
Secondly,
Yeah, just know it was just about jokes from a few years ago, bro. That's it.
no. I've not been charged in the second.
You have
trial.
been charged. I
No
understand.
indictment.
Yo, one at a
You've been
time, bro. One at a
charged.
time. Let him finish.
You have.
Hey, shout out to Dylan.
What kind of car you want to drive?
We got
What kind of car you?
we got Bottom G. Bottom G. I'm not familiar with this. So this is my first time viewing Bottom G.
What kind of car you want to drive? Bugatti. And what you want to do in life?
I want to smoke cigars on a yacht with 100 women that can't look me in the eye.
And I got just the guy that'll help us do that.
All right.
Music. Jesus Christ.
Stop that. Do you meet him? I gotta go with.com.
I wish you didn't do that.
I said stop. You ain't Andrew Tate. You Andrew Tate. The hell on my face.
Oh, that is funny. That is funny. Shout out from to Barcode. Welcome.
Haven't been indicted.
So yeah, so that again, he's saying, no, I have the documents, and I could find them, but I think it was Willie Mack who did like a really good breakdown of all the stuff with these charges. So, you know, again, he's just telling people, no, it was just about a joke. It was not about a joke. It was about a minor.
That
You have been
crime,
charged. I
first.
have the documents. I have the documents. You've been charged.
Secondly, no. I've not been charged in the second.
You have
trial.
been charged. I
There's no
understand.
indictment.
Yo, one at a
You've been
time, bro. One at a
charged.
time. Let him
You
finish.
haven't been indicted. You have been charged.
Stop lying, Andrew.
Wait, guys, hold on. One second. We're going to keep this cordial. Andrew, you're going to make a point, and then we're going to go to Crayons. We're just going to keep this cordial so we can make this fair. But Andrew, you're welcome to make a...
What does that do? How does that change? How should that change my opinion on Andrew Tate if I think Andrew Tate was doing this, and then also there were some women that were compliant? Have you heard of Ghislaine Maxwell? Doesn't mean Epstein is innocent.
Good point, and then we'll go to Crayons. It's a double.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Andrew. Gather your thoughts.
Yeah, guys, just keep this cordial. If it's fighting over, it's not going to make the experience as good. So, Andrew, go ahead.
So he's checking with his attorneys right now to figure out how to handle this. So in Romania, you have 24 hours after you've been detained. You have 24 hours, and they're going to charge you with the crimes.
One second, Saj,
He's been
can you unmute your mic because
Oh
there's
my
a bad
God.
echo in the background. Just make a Bluetooth. But
They're having technical difficulties at the most convenient time.
while Tate unmutes, Brown, you can go ahead.
Yeah, is there still an echo?
No, you're good. It's just
Right.
Saj, just
Okay,
make sure you
yeah.
can disconnect the Bluetooth if you unmute your mic. But Murder, go ahead, and then
And you could see his profile picture, the bruv party. Jesus Christ.
Okay. So Andrew has been charged for sex acts with a minor who was 15 years old in the second case. He's not been indicted, but he has been charged. He's also been charged with trafficking a minor for allegedly putting a 17-year-old girl on webcam. Through letters rogatory, her home country has confirmed her age, and My Free Cams also confirmed when she created the account. So he has been charged. He's using the complexity of Romanian law to lie to everyone, to make them believe his case has been dismissed. He hasn't been charged. He's being held against his will. He's still under judicial control from the first case because it has not been dismissed. The prosecutor's rewriting the indictment. The second case is still under investigation, and he's under house arrest specifically for the 15-year-old that they're alleging that he had sex acts with, repeated sex acts.
You are so full.
I got the doc.
Like, even if that's not true, what's funny about it? That seems like cope. That seems like cope. I said, I'm not trying to change your opinion, darling. I'm here for the bread and circuses. I don't know what your stance on the Tates is. So yeah, I was saying before that I used to be a fan, and even after the arrest, I thought it was all lawfare, just like Trump. And then more and more and more and more and more evidence came out, including his own words, where he was talking about defrauding people that he worked for, men and women. One clip was like, "Oh, you tell them that you got to take out this much for taxes, and then you just give them half, and they're stupid, and they don't know any better." Which is, I mean, not nearly as bad as sex trafficking, but still really bad. It's just, yeah, and exactly the laundry list. If it was just that, I'd be like, come on, bro, that's not nice, but it's a lot more.
That all you got, Andrew.
So we got only 3 votes on the poll, guys. Arrow, get your opinion in there. So, do you believe Tate is guilty of sexual crimes?
Has dedicated 3 years of his life to me.
They do dress nice.
He can leave his.
And again, that's their whole response to this. This is his response. Ha 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 ha. His own words with minors too. Yeah, I don't remember all of the every single aspect of it, but he did say, did he? I think if what you're referring to is he was talking about a girl, and then we found people, not me, but people found out that the girl he was talking about was in fact a minor at the time. Arrow said, yes, he's guilty, but so what? So what is that Benny Johnson and what the fuck is her face are now tying him, an international sex trafficker, to the incoming president of the United States of America? That's so what? King said, I know that's not proof, but it's enough for me to think you're fucked. Samesies. And again, it's not like I was looking for a reason to dislike him. I liked him. I was a fan. I was, I was one of them. I was one of them. And it just took enough of humility to be able to look at what's going on and see that, he is not somebody I want to associate with. And then the left has a very easy time of dispelling any of the work that Trump and the rest of MAGA are trying to do. So you think, you're telling me that you think the reputation of Bill Clinton and the reputation of Trump are similar? Can you pull up a clip where somebody called Bill Clinton Hitler? Not quite.
How's Andrew?
I am going to walk, and he is going to cry, and it's going to be the greatest day. And you know what? I know things he doesn't know, and I'm going to walk a lot sooner because I've done nothing wrong. The first case was thrown out. You keep reading off
for 3 years.
That a judge has already thrown out. You dummy.
You're lying.
Oh, that's his other thing. I think he brings up again with the chick with the the Romanian authorities said that none of this evidence is admissible. Okay, and then he said because it was collected incorrectly or something. Like, okay, fine. Then legally you should not be held for that. That doesn't mean you didn't do it. That just means the evidence was thrown out.
This is going to be a great day. Gentlemen, all the women at home who are talking about me and saying maybe I have blackmail on important people, I know I'm a boss. I know you all want me. You can DM me anytime.
Andrew, quick question. Can you just confirm? So there was people making claims saying there's extradition cases that you've got in the UK. Just to confirm, in terms of Romania, this is the only case they currently have. If it's connecting.
Did you guys drop him?
No, we didn't.
He's still here. Bro, you guys.
Why do people use these Twitter spaces so much? They're not good. Like, they should be way better. And the fact that they don't have video pisses me off.
Guys are really are you serious?
We haven't dropped him, bro. He dropped himself. Just chill.
That's stupid, bro. Like, honestly, bro.
Timo Tate, chill, man. We didn't.
What do you mean, Timo Tate? You guys couldn't handle a space and don't know how to run in space.
Stop, bro.
So he dipped out, and that was all that he was willing to give. And he was like, "We have the court papers that you had sex with a 15-year-old." Ha 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 ha. Oh, I got a bad connection. Gotta go. So then this is later in the same space where his brother Tristan was there.
Each brother has two faces. They have the public face that they've been telling all of you guys, right? They want to drive people into the war room. They want to drive people into the real world. They're telling people that there's no victims. The whole thing is fabricated. We're going to tell you soon who rules the world. We're going to spill the beans soon. Like when Andrew came in here earlier, I don't know if you were in here, Kevin, when Andrew came in.
Ara said, someone got head in the Oval Office and someone made 9/11 happen. Which is worse? The latter. Does that mean that getting head in the Oval Office is good? These are not mutually exclusive things. Just because one bad thing happens doesn't mean other things that happen are not bad.
But he keeps saying, oh, I know things that you don't know. He's been saying that for 2 years. So they keep saying this stuff publicly. However, in front of the judge, it's a totally different story. And you can go to the portal.ro or redress.ro. You can go through the court files. You can see the judicial decisions. You can see what their actual lawyers have said. You can see what the tape brothers are saying. And what they're saying in front of the court is completely different than what they're saying to everybody publicly.
So
like a lie.
Crayons, just for the co-host, donate anyone else up here. We're just going to keep it between Crayons Gadget. Tristan, welcome to the space. How are you doing today?
I'm actually sitting in my house with one of my victims in this new case because these losers keep saying that there's so many victims and that there's numerous people who have been named as victims. They just literally wrote down every single girl that I know as a victim.
And again, I'm willing to, that's the type of stuff that I was willing to believe before, and I'm willing to believe now. Yeah, I am willing to believe that they threw everything at the wall to see what could stick. That doesn't mean that nothing stuck. That doesn't mean that nothing stuck. They tried the same thing with Trump, I agree. But nothing stuck with Trump because Trump didn't do anything.
Everybody I know was written down on this list, and everybody I know is defending me.
Okay, so we agree. But then they're all bad though, right?
So there are no victims at all. These guys are losers. They're lying. The first case
No victims at all. The 15-year-old was in on it, guys. She was in on it.
Has been completely dropped, no matter what they say. And I'm sitting.
Whoa. It's been dropped? I thought
they're losers. They're lying. The first case has been completely dropped.
I thought there was no charges.
No matter what they say. And I'm sitting here enjoying my lunch with one of my so-called victims.
So
notice how they always have to tell you how great they are, and I'm in my big house with my Bugatti. Like, just talk like a normal human.
First of all, Tristan, nice to meet you. Finally, I hope you get a fair trial. If you are dropped in the first case, why are you still under judicial control for the first case? Why was it just extended? Why are 5 of the women given statements against you in the first case? 4 of them are injured parties, civil parties, and so far 7 of them in the second case have already given statements against you. And there's an extradition treaty or extradition order for you to be extradited to the UK for human trafficking when Romania's criminal proceedings have concluded. So for you to sit here and say,
wait, did Murda cut out?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Murda, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tristan, I might agree with you and say, yeah, they might have wrote some of them in there, but I've looked at all of your files.
Which is exactly what I just because they're throwing everything at the wall doesn't mean nothing stuck.
I've looked at the unredacted indictment. I've looked at all the judicial motivations, everything unredacted. They have all the amounts that these people have made for you on OnlyFans and webcam. They have all the situations in terms of lover boy, false feelings, etc. And listen, if some of them.
That was so I mean that's kind of and he does the same thing. He just gives bullshit and dips out. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Let's go with that too.
All right, guys.
I remember when I first heard about this Loverboy thing, and I always thought that was a stupid thing. I don't necessarily agree with the Loverboy method. That should be akin to sex trafficking. If some girl thinks that she's gonna fall in love or whatever, and that's on her. Women are adults, in my personal opinion. Really quick before we get back to Trump and Trump's lawyer and Tate yucking it up. Russell Brand also had something to say about this.
Let me get some of that. I want the video if released.
Someone like Andrew Tate, with the audience he has, could make a significant difference if correctly backed. He does say
anybody could make a significant difference if properly backed. That's what the mainstream media was.
Some stuff that's pretty out there. But the fact is, in a democracy, if someone is able to glean popular support, they can have a mandate. They should be represented. I suppose what's more significant and interesting to me is the way that figures like Andrew Tate or Tommy Robinson have always been maligned, I think, to place an impassable threshold around systems of influence and power. You can have your own views of Andrew Tate. You might think he's misogynistic or vulgar. But the fact is, he appeals to
if those things I don't care about. It's the sexual crimes.
a lot of people, and he represents some things that a lot of people are very interested in.
This is anti-establishment brainworms, right? Well, he's been criticized by the mainstream, and so therefore he must be right. This is the mindset. Like, oh,
what y'all got me out here agreeing with Mr. Backstreet Boy. What is happening?
They'll hit you as hard as they possibly can because of that. And it's a disgrace what they're doing. Obviously I don't know the facts of your case, but I know that it probably wouldn't be happening if you were not yourself. And that's very similar to my client. And just
well, here's something I love to say, and I said it in Romanian court, but I don't think the judge even spoke English, which shows how crazy my entire case is. But I said your ability to speak freely is directly correlated with your irrelevance. And if you're large enough and too many people listen, your ability to speak freely quickly disappears. And
wait, what? So wait, the
cases, but I said your ability to speak freely is directly correlated with your irrelevance.
Your ability to speak freely is directly correlated with your irrelevance. I mean, we got politicians and billionaires that are allowed to speak, just not you, because, well, you're here, but people are going after you because you're a sex trafficker. Don said Kyle is in his highlighter hair era. And that's that as far as I understand the timeline, that's the hair that he had when he and Crystal Ball got together. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on the left. Apparently, I don't know what's going on the right either.
And if you're large enough and too many people listen, your ability to speak freely quickly disappears. And they may not
tell that to Elon.
Not charge you with
tell that to Trump.
Breaking a speech crime in America. In Europe, they certainly will to make it very clear why they're getting you, but they'll get you for something else.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I don't doubt that down the road, if we don't fix this problem, I'm on that chopping block. I think that that's an un-American and undemocratic, frankly, thing to do. That's third world stuff. My parents fled Baghdad. That's why they fled. I'm not going to allow my country or any place to become that as long as I have a say. And I can tell you that's top of mind for me. We're going into DC. I'm moving this week, getting excited, but I'll never forget what we went through for the last 3.5 years with President Trump. And it's time to fix it.
Yeah. And the way to fix it is to not associate yourself with somebody who's actually guilty of actual crimes. That's the most frustrating part of this. Is that, like, again, if Benny wants to have a discussion with Andrew Tate and try to rehab his image, sure, I don't give a shit. I do not care. But when you bring Trump's lawyer into this, now anything that Andrew Tate does over the next 4 years is going to be tied back to this conversation and to use to smear Trump.
It's enough talk. And like you said, enough tweeting, enough media. It's time to get to work. So
can't wait.
Alina, very quickly here, because President Trump said it, and we talked about it earlier with Andrew, Donald Trump is currently gagged by Juan Merchan and wasn't allowed to even speak freely in his own defense at his sentencing.
Right.
What's the next steps, as you've been a legal counselor to Donald Trump for the better part of the last 3 years, and you'll be joining him in the White House? What is the strategy here moving forward to make sure that no American ever has to put up with this ever again?
Yeah. So
guys, really quick, I am begging you for 4 likes. Let's just get 4 likes. We got 11 people and 4 likes. Let's double that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This is the beauty of me being in the West Wing, is that I can help with many different elements, because I think it's a part of everything. I think it's the DOJ. I think it's the Attorney General. It's the FBI. It's the CIA. It's everybody that does anything wrong, that coordinates with an administration to hurt a political party. It cannot happen anymore. So if I were to go into the FBI, I wouldn't really be able to touch the AG. If I were able to go into the AG's office, and I love Pam and I love Cash, I would only be siloed in that, where I'm excited to actually be able to look into all of it, coordinate, and make sure everyone is cooperating from right in the West Wing. And that's what needs to happen, because if we don't have that, then everybody's marching to their own orders, their own drums. And I'm not going to see that happen once again. We saw people from the DOJ come in and sit in state court to go after President Trump. We saw the FBI going after moms because they care about their children's well-being in schools. All of that doesn't just come from Merrick Garland. It comes from the administration. It comes from the top, and that is the President of the United States. So the president that I'm working for, I can tell you, after what they did today, after what they've done to him for years, is going to ensure that 0 Americans will ever have this happen to him. And I will make sure of it with him. And I can tell you that.
That's a great message, but again, undercut by the fact that you're saying it next to Andrew Tate. Shout out to all of those. Welcome to the party. Happy to see you as well. Welcome.
Will ever have this happen to him. And I will make sure of it with him. And I can tell you that I want to thank Judge Merchan and DA Bragg and all of these people, the people that are attacking Andrew Tate. It's the same thing. All you're doing is
The resurrection of Tate or Trump, or the resurrection of who?
making us stronger. And if there was any question of that, look at the polls. Look at what he did. Every swing state, and we fought hard. But we fought hard for people to understand the truth. And when we spoke to it, they saw it. They saw the relentless attacks. It's like Andrew, relentless attacks. He goes into a court, they don't speak English. I go into a court, I'm told I can't speak as an attorney. I'm not even.
So again, everything they were saying, oh, this is great about Trump. Now they're able, oh, so you like that about Andrew Tate too? That it makes it semantically, not semantically, but just conversationally, much more difficult to have a principled stance when we're dealing with Andrew Tate.
Even the defendant. And this is all going to stop, I can assure you, because God forbid we leave. We can't have this happen again in 4 years. It's not going to happen while we're there, because we don't do that. President Trump could have put Hillary Clinton away. We know that. And he didn't. And that's just because it's not the right thing to do. But I will tell you, they crossed that line. And now it's time to look into what actually happened, but more importantly, put in some policy, some regulations that nobody can ever put or fund. The Soroses of the world cannot fund political opponents through AGs and DAs.
Shout out to Gary Grant. Welcome to the party. Very good to see ya. Welcome. We are watching Trump's lawyer damage his reputation.
I will not leave until I'm sure that is taken care of. I can assure you.
You know, this is so important because I don't think many people understand that if America falls, there is nowhere else to go. I'm over here in Romania, which is NATO sphere. It's an American vassal state, but it's close to Moldova. It's close to Russia. It's very close to Ukraine. This is currently actually the most strategic country in the world for the Ukraine war, which is why they just overthrew their own election, because an anti-war guy won. So they threw the election away. It's absolute chaos over here. But the point I'm making is people say to me, well, you know, when all this case is over, why would you even stay in the West? Why don't you move to Russia or whatever? No. My home is America. And if America falls, you're not going to find more freedom anywhere else. You're never going to be free in Russia or China or Iran. Like, where do you think you're going to run? There's nowhere to go. You have to protect America and protect our home and keep it sovereign, free, and democratic. Because once you lose that, there is literally nowhere else on the planet you're going to have a semblance of it. And you're going to find yourself very quickly dealing with courts, which are even worse than the ones we're dealing with in the West currently. So,
again, I agree with what he's saying. It just doesn't rehab his image. I said I don't care about his crimes. He's a martyr for the cause. I get what you're saying, and I can appreciate that aspect of, you know, taking on the Matrix, as he would call it. I can appreciate that, but it at some point, and again, I'm not in the same way. You're not trying to change my opinion. I'm not trying to change yours, but at some point, you have to have a red line where it's like, okay, it doesn't really matter how much good you've done. Once you've done this thing, no more. The cause of the fact that children are disposable. But you mean in terms of the sex trafficking that he was doing? You're not a martyr for the cause if you're doing the thing. I thought you were talking more about, you know, the cultural push against, you know, the lawfare and all that stuff in general. But he was the one doing it.
This is a fight for not only our way of life, this is a fight for our future, a fight for our children to even have a country they can be proud of. This is the most important thing ever. And when I speak to men and they say, I'm not really political, I often just look at them and say, you don't care about your future? You don't care about your country? You don't care about the taxes you pay? We all need to be political, and we all need to get serious, and we have to. We have to.
Yeah.
Maybe a quick closing question for the both of you, given the fact that you're both young and both very, very involved in politics and the largest and extreme possible extent. A message to young people about their nation, because I do think there is a bit of apathy. Perhaps the fever is being broken right now. A lot of young people voted for Trump, and very much Gen Z millennials delivered for President Trump in 2024.
Largely thanks to Charlie Kirk on TikTok.
Yet there does seem to be quite a bit of apathy, and I think that the enemy seizes on that apathy and then is able to take your freedoms if you actually don't care or fight for them. And perhaps a message about what got you active and involved, and why young people should actually care about protecting women, about protecting their sovereignty, and about protecting their rights.
I would just say stop being wimps. Stop being wimps. We've raised wimps. My children, I have no tolerance for wimps. I have no tolerance. Not everybody gets a trophy. And we've created this very weak society where people were afraid to wear MAGA hats. People were afraid to, people come up to me and they tell me, oh, I'm so.
Yep. My Papa Lutz was like, I got my MAGA. He's like, be careful wearing that around Jersey.
Excited that I can wear my MAGA hat now. And I look at them and I go, why couldn't you wear it before?
Yes.
So you want me to say, oh, thank you for wearing it now? No, why weren't you wearing it before? 3.5 years ago when it wasn't cool to represent President Trump or stand outside and scream for him. That's when I stood up. So stop being weak. You have an opinion. Everyone has an opinion.
Arrow said children are innocent victims and there's nothing anyone can do to stop the exploitation. Not now, not then, not ever. True. So let's just let it happen. Let's just let it happen. And what is I don't know. What am I supposed to do with that? Like, yeah, of course. You're not going to stop murder either. But don't you think we should put murderers in jail?
It's just about, in my opinion, weakness. So
I really thought you guys would care a little bit more about this.
Weak people, the cream always rises to the top, but you better have a backbone. And I think unfortunately, some very weak individuals, and that has to change with parenting.
All right, so let's pull an audible. Clearly, you guys do not care about this at all. So Sam Harris was on Bill Maher's show here, and they were crying about the they were crying about the election. And what's a disgusting comment? I think your Arrow's actually absolutely right. There's no way to stop it. That just doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. That doesn't mean that we should be okay with people who are involved with it, like Andrew Tate. I don't know. Again, I really thought that putting the Trump and Tate in, I thought that would spark some interest. I'm very surprised that you guys do not care at all. But all right, let's watch some liberals cry.
Say that your kids don't even cursive. They can't read cursive. So he's one of those people who talks a lot, and he kind of like just.
Have you ever met him?
Of course,
okay. Yeah. And so, like, what?
Talking about Trump, obviously.
What was your? There's a photo. Yeah, you showed me a photo of you and him at one point.
That was at the Emmys. I forgot about that time. Yeah, that's a classic photo.
Do you have any?
No,
like a different.
Some of us have the ability to influence the disgrace in our own small way, one by one. Sure, but supporting an admitted sex trafficker is at least undoing some of that influence. Shout out to Dr. Salmonella Harris. Good one. Wallow said, I care. Tate is a stain in the conservative, patriotic people who has nothing to do with. But yeah, generally, he's a stain on the whole movement, and that's why. Yeah, I thought people would care a little bit more that Trump's lawyer is coming on and be like, Andrew Tate, you're awesome. I agree with everything you say. Trump and Tate are exactly the same. That's really, really bad. I mean, I haven't seen much of it from the left. Thankfully, I've seen a lot more of it from the right, but I guess I don't know what people care about anymore.
Experience of him in person versus his public persona?
Of course. I have the same experience every single person who's ever met him has, which is, oh my God, not only is he not a monster in person, but he's actually was very nice and charming. And, he's one of those guys who's always looking to make connections and network. And maybe someday this guy, I don't know, but I'm going to like flatter him and give him like 2 minutes of my attention and make him feel like an important person. That's a skill that a salesman like him and a con man like him has to have. And he does have.
You had to throw it in. You had to, a con man. He's a businessman. That's what businessmen are like. It's so sad that even when they're trying to say, oh, I met him and he's a nice guy, they still have to throw something underhanded there. Arrow said, you take a child under your wing in your community, in your town, and you protect them. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Supporting sex traffickers undercuts that. If we want to say on a scale of 0 to 100, this gets you 100 points. It's undercut by supporting Andrew Tate. In the context of protecting children, supporting Andrew Tate loses you points on that scale. Garrett said, my guess is she's saying those statements because he hasn't been found guilty of anything and he has a following. I mean, Yeah, you're I think you're right, but I just think it was such a bad calculation that I don't know that he does have that much of a following anymore. I mean, clearly he does, but in terms of the influence he used to have, I'm the most Googled man on earth. Like I don't think that's been true for a long time, if it ever was. And the negative potential of working with someone like Andrew Tate. I mean, again, if it was just Benny just interviewing him, seeing what's up, and oh, you're running for to be the prime minister, and blah 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 blah. Let's see what you got to say. I would not even care. I would not even care. It's the fact that you're bringing Trump's personal lawyer into it, and her saying all these positive things, and not only saying positive things about Andrew Tate, but saying things that are positive about Andrew Tate because of the fact that they're similar to Trump. But they're not similar to Trump. Shout out to Jeff Pearson. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Said Tate is a dirtbag. Definitely the opposite of most MAGA supporters. The opposite? I don't know that we could say that. I don't even know that we could say that. There's definitely a lot of really just morally good people in MAGA, but we're seeing that clearly MAGA is a lot wider than we understood. And so the fact that I mean, essentially, if you are in the camp of you want Trump to be the president because you want our culture to move in that direction, that's ostensibly all it takes to be MAGA. But that shows us that you can be a dirtbag and still be in MAGA. Arrow said it has a ripple effect, and you don't pretend you're making any difference. It's for that small soul and that small person alone. I've still at no point said that this was bad. At every point, I've said that if you're doing that, that is a good thing to do. That doesn't erase other things. Wallace said Mara is so smiley and cowardly the way he attacks people. I'm not attacking, okay? I'm just giving my unfettered opinion, okay?
Habit. I met him twice. Once was at the Playboy Mansion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you're meeting on an area of common interest.
it was the
Get it? Because they're girls.
Midsummer Night's Dream Party. Are you familiar?
I can imagine.
Bill, you been to some freak offs? You been to some freak offs, bro?
No, I have. I wasn't.
You never
there.
heard of
that? No, I think I've heard of it, but I don't.
It's iconic. It was.
Is it a costume? I mean, does everyone show up in costume?
No, it was a party. It was in the middle of the summer, so it was hot out, and you had to wear bedwear. Of course, it's an excuse to get the women to wear lingerie.
Right, but do you show up in pajamas?
Yes,
too,
you'd either show up in
So you think it's a bad thing to have a lingerie party because it gets women in their underwear, but you went. Okay.
Guys had different, muscle guys would just like have pajama bottoms and no shirt, and, or you have a classy smoking jacket. I thought was a good look, but it was just to get the women in them.
Right.
But so everyone is in their pajama wear, and he's walking around the party. He did a lap in his, just what he always wears
in his MAGA suit,
his power suit with the red tie.
Right.
And I remember he just went around the party, and I talked to him there. And yes, he was quite charming.
That's such a Trump move to go to a lingerie party in a full suit with a red tie. That's
charming and attentive. And then I saw him at a club in New York in the 90s. We were both at a club. Again, I know, common interest. I think it was called Moomba. It was one of those places at that era in my life I would be at. And I think he talked about it on Howard Stern once, and I asked him about it.
Well, I said, yeah, Benny is that knucklehead type of guy who's going to scream "based," even if it's the most technocratic, pedo enabler, 2030 agenda guy. I mean, yeah, I don't. Like I said, I like Benny. I like that he has. I like. I don't know what it is about him. I do like him, but I also see a little bit of his actual personality, maybe that I don't love. I'm not sure how to put my finger exactly on it, but I don't know. And doing this is really just hurt his reputation in my mind. Using my gun for what? What?
I don't know. Yeah, he's with the girls. She was not bad. I got the approval from Donald Trump. She wasn't a 7. You know, it's so.
I skipped a bunch of the opening bullshit. They're about to get
But
to.
I've matured and he hasn't. That's the difference between how you get to be president and why you're sitting here in this lickable furniture room.
Also, if you haven't matured, you become president. And if you have matured, you sit around and say that I'm better than everybody and nobody watches my show anymore, but I'm so relevant.
Well,
No, I
there's
don't.
one thing I am skeptical about.
Come on.
I haven't said anything about this. I'll give it to you.
That we can agree on. Make asylums great again. We need people in asylums. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, yep, there's that patented smugness. It wouldn't be Bill Maher without, okay, I just know better. Guys, do not please forget about our swoggle. Our prize tonight, a reward for Morty, is a cut-off peanut butter thing. He loves it. $2 or more will count. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I actually this just could be based on a faulty intuition about ballistics, but I'm surprised that a rifle round making any degree of contact with an ear wouldn't do more damage. I think a shattered piece of shrapnel from a teleprompter is far more likely to have done that to his ear than a...
Bro, we have pictures of the bullets going by his head. We have pictures of the bullets going by his head. And Dylan, remember, he didn't say, I don't care if people die. What he said is that I don't care if there were dead people in Biden's basement. I would still vote for the guy.
Come on, man.
That's much better.
A rifle round.
It's so silly.
Well, have you maybe
are we getting Bill as the voice of reason here?
Shattered piece of shrapnel from a teleprompter is far more likely to have done that to his ear than a rifle round.
It's so silly.
Well,
thank you, Bill.
Rifle rounds do to human bodies?
I know, but like, if it just hit it by the slightest possible degree, it just, it makes much more sense. The guy behind.
Well, no, but I do. No, there's no question there were rifle rounds flying. I mean, someone was killed. I'm not debating that at all. But
But did they hit Trump? When he immediately caught his ear and went down at the first shot. Yeah. Well, I mean, could have been the teleprompter.
If in fact a teleprompter was hit by the rifle round, and we know there was shattered glass,
was there even a teleprompter that was hit? Or are you just saying if there was one? That's like his vaccine argument. Well, if the pandemic was so much worse, and if everybody this, and if everybody that, then I'd be right. Okay, but that's not how it is.
That makes more sense to me.
Oh, that he didn't get hit at all. It was the teleprompter.
He got hit by flying glass as opposed to a rifle
but that doesn't change the.
Oh, Bill, no! I thought you were telling him that was stupid. Oh. Well, they're both in the same boat.
Basic narration.
No.
And again, going back to people that I used to have a great degree of respect. Both of these guys, I used to respect to no end. There was a time when I would have answered the question, if you can have dinner with anybody who is alive, who would it be? And I would answer Sam Harris. I think his neurological and religious work is great, but he don't know how to stay in his lane. And this is not his lane.
Oh, zero chance.
No, I completely agree that it could be that McLovin just missed him completely.
McLovin?
That's what I call it. And shot the other guy. And he got hit by the, but
Yes, no, that does not take anything away from him.
To be fair, if we had a little bit more investigation information, any of that kind of stuff on the actual event, then it might be a little easier to dispel what they're saying. We have absolutely no information, so you can't really blame them that much for speculating. Jess said, of course there was shrapnel. There would likely be a bunch, and Trump would likely have more small wounds. Yeah, no. It was just one piece of shrapnel that went in the direction of his entire body. So it hit his ear because when it broke, it's like that, and then it shatters, and all of it went that way except the one piece that went right by his ear.
What? Bingo. Stupid.
I'm gonna take the stupid one, but yeah,
stupid.
That's what he's thinking. Apparently, Ronald Reagan is a curse word.
What?
Ronald Reagan, you
survived a legit assassination attempt.
Right.
I'm not disputing that.
And by the way,
hey, shout out to Equality and Deference because of vagina over on Rumble. So it looks like Trump's lawyer has nice tits. She does have nice tits. She just has very stupid PR sense to be hanging out with Andrew Tate. Welcome to the party. Dylan said the very event that made Destiny go mask off and drop the act. Yep. Jeff said the magic shrapnel, just like the magic bullet. Every assassination has to have magic in it. It's not like somebody can just shoot a gun from 100 yards away and hit the target. Like, that stuff doesn't happen. But magic bullets, magic shrapnel, that's my first guess.
Okay. Thank God he did. Not just because even people we don't like, we should not wish their death, but it's a bad place for your mind to be, I think. But also because the country would just have gone nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be in the middle of a civil war now.
Well,
I mean, we kind of are, but I definitely agree. They're like, I cannot imagine what we like. I literally cannot imagine what it would be like if we had, if that had, gone through. That would have been arguably worse than if he had just lost the election. I said, you do know the Kennedy family had their daughter lobotomized because she spoke frankly. This ain't no Camelot. Well, again, the Kennedy family doesn't like RFK Jr., so I don't know how much I trust about them. She probably had some shit to say. And they were like, nope, you don't know nothing anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we would be in the middle of a civil war now.
Well, so I think we sort of nodded toward this truth, but I'll just make it explicit. I do think that one of the silver linings of him having won this election and having won it decisively.
Are we going to get something that's actually positive, or are we going to get something that is underhanded? Is he actually going to say something positive? I don't think so, but let's see.
That one of the silver linings of him having won this election and having won it decisively is that it has discharged all of that pent-up rage and conspiracy thinking. I mean, like, so.
I'll give him that. I won't take points for conspiracy thinking, but I actually agree. There's a lot of, or rather, there is a lot less just hysteria than I expected there to be from a Trump win.
In Trumpistan, well, they've gotten everything.
Yeah.
Right. So now they've got 4 years.
No, they believe in elections again.
Yeah. So like our election system works, right? Apparently, and.
Yeah, when you don't have what was it, 200,000 or 20,000 extra votes that just disappeared. Yeah, then we're gonna trust that not only do elections work if you do them properly, but it's further evidence that that election in 2020 was bullshit. So Equality and Devon's asking, who is this Benny guy? We were talking before when he's a commentator, a conservative commentator, and he was the one who brought Andrew Tate and the lawyer on his show. So just another YouTuber. No, if I had a magic bus, nobody would know about it.
The elites couldn't keep the man down.
But again,
there's no conspiracy. The Jews didn't do the thing that we're worried about.
But, again, and I don't think you're going to disagree with this. We didn't cure the cancer. We just pushed it further into tissue.
Well, but I think it's different. But the counterfactual is scary. I mean, so a Harris administration with all of these right-wing QAnon-addled nutcases thinking that the fix was in and elections don't mean anything. And all that's bad from my point of view. So the fact that half of the electorate is that crazy is I do think they've been mollified, and then now they get to see what it's like to govern with all of the tech bros they love, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't know what will happen with that. I do know what will happen with the next election, which is why, as much as we're living...
Oh, just like you knew it was going to happen with this election, right?
Living in a wonderful time now, where America's great again, whatever the next election is, if the Democrat wins it, they're just going to be ever more suspicious, and it's just going to be we're putting off this day.
Not if there's not 20,000 or however many extra votes.
Day where something has to give with the people who don't believe in elections, unless we win them.
No, but
that's intolerable.
Why would you say that if this time we, the mustache twirling plutocrats, couldn't fix the election?
You're thinking
elections works.
You're thinking so logically. That's Sam.
He won everything. He ran the table.
Yes, because there was no cheating. But if he had lost, there would have been cheating.
No,
you have it backwards.
Absolutely.
Well, right, but again, the if you have, let's say we're doing a foot race. We're not talking about an election race. We are talking just about a foot race. And it's me versus Usain Bolt. Would it be reasonable? Would it be reasonable to say that if Lutch wins this, there had to have been some bullshit? Because I know what it takes to run a race like that. And I know who Lutch is. And I know what Usain Bolt can do. Would that be unreasonable? That if you just heard that I beat Usain Bolt in a foot race, that you'd be skeptical? Come on. Jeff said, just read an article that basically shows that Sam's pissed at Elon. Sam hates criticism, and he seems pretty fragile. Oh, he's like a little girl when it comes to that shit. Absolutely.
Cheating. But if he had lost, there would have been cheating.
No,
you have it backwards.
Absolutely, but we've proven that you could have a fair election in the year 2024.
You're living in the world where you're encountering people like you,
right?
And that's not the world we live in.
All right. Well,
that's not.
I'm a bad judge of character.
You are. That is not.
It's so hilarious to see somebody who's way out of touch tell somebody else, "You're way out of touch." It's the blind leading the blind.
Going to happen. What's going to happen is the next time a Democrat wins, there's going to be a fucking shitstorm, and I don't know how that ends. And it depends.
Stop cheating. I mean, you do that. Shout out to TV Viewerski. Welcome to the party. So you could take Usain. I mean, maybe with a head start. But yeah, it's again, if you were to hear that and not be skeptical, it would be illogical. And then eventually, if there was oh, well, it's because Usain Bolt actually tripped. Like, okay, now we're adding in context and makes a little bit more sense. But like, just believing that is insane. And to believe that Kamala Harris legitimately could have gotten more votes than Donald Trump is crazy. Oh yeah, serious TDS. This is of all the TDS in that room. If TDS could kill, they wouldn't be able to breathe. I said, the pills that I took made my fingers disappear. What? I don't know.
A fucking shitstorm. And I don't know how that ends.
I said, fucking shitstorms are the worst kind of shitstorms. Good one.
And it depends also on who is in positions of power that are being put there now. I mean, I did an editorial once about power begets power. The more power you have, the more power you get. So now
what are you worried about, and what are you agnostic about, and what are you hopeful about?
I'm worried about that now that they have a lot of power controlling all the levers, they do what all countries do, where the people who want to stay in power forever put the people in place who are just total loyalists.
Yeah, like the party that you voted for that has been in power for the last 50 years, right? Projection.
It's the courts.
But are you worried that we're not going to have a valid 2028 election because he's going to run for a third term or something?
It doesn't really. I mean, he could, and that would be awful. I don't know. It's a very sort of Prince Charles situation, you know, like where Don Jr. is like, "Mom, would you please die, Queen Elizabeth?" So I mean, how old was Prince Charles when he finally got it? And Don Jr.
I hadn't thought. Well, let's just put up a poll. Would you vote for Don Jr.? So just based on, you know, unless you've read his books or whatever, you've probably only seen him on podcasts and little snippets here. But would you vote for him if he ran? Again, not knowing who else is on the ticket, but
Jr. is kind of be chomping at the bit. But we are heading toward that, where like North Korea and the Assad regime and many other places in the world, that they have elections, wink, wink, but really it's just the scion of the ruling family that takes over. And of course, their fans love this.
So remember when it was not allowed to talk about possible the possibility that our elections weren't secure? Now you're just allowed to for reasons. Do you have anything in the 2024 election that made it look like it wasn't a fair election? No? okay, then there's no hypocrisy. When we see fucky shit, we look at the fucky shit. In 2020, there was fucky shit, so we looked at the fucky shit. In 2024, no fucky shit, nothing to look at. TV Viewerski said, I'm afraid they're gonna do what we did without saying I'm afraid that they're gonna do what we did. I'll give that a dilly dilly. Hell yeah. Exactly right. I'm scared of my own medicine. A Bill Maher CD of comedy, or is he singing? I would like to hear that if he's singing.
So, I think J.D. Vance is just a placeholder for Don Jr. I think the fact that they look alike makes it easier. They just put Don Jr. in there and they tell them it's the same guy.
So you think Trump is...
Yeah, right. I was like, oh, it was obviously rigged. The Dems lost. Whereas when we were saying, even though, people were, when it came down to the actual aspect of, was it cheating or the laws that were broken versus did the rule changes, cause an effect like that? We, again, had things to point to, not just, we're supposed to win because we're the ones. Excuse me. I said Don Jr. killed animals on safari. For that reason, he gets downvoted. What's wrong with what's wrong with safaris? JD Jr. There you go. That's the ticket. That's the ticket. In fact, I wonder what would be a better ticket. JD with Don Jr. as a VP, or Don Jr. as the candidate and JD as a VP again. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, his comedy is, from what I've heard, he had a couple, or maybe, I don't know, one special that I've seen, and not bad. Got a lot of atheist stuff in there for me. But yeah, his comedy is good. His politics just aren't.
Junior in there and they tell them it's the same guy.
So you think Trumpism continues without Trump?
Hell yes, it does. We are Trumpism. We are MAGA. As we've been saying, it's not about Trump himself. Trump was the I don't want to say not pioneer, but Trump was the canary in the coal mine, and we are now following up, and it's an entire movement that stands on its own now.
Absolutely, I think Trump.
I have no intuitions about that.
Very often with a person named Trump.
You have no intuitions about whether people care about the ideas that you would call Trumpism. You have no idea whether that has to do with the ideas or whether that has to do with Trump. That tells me that you don't know what you're talking about.
I have no intuitions about that.
Very often with a person named Trump.
Right. Yeah. So I would. That feels
Don
like a coin
Barron, I could see. Doing this.
He's 8 feet tall, so yeah. It would be,
so was George Washington for his day.
Yeah.
What does him being tall have to do with anything? Quality Deborah said, Maher's a funny guy, but it doesn't seem to apply critical thinking to politics. Trump is personification of a fuck you to the establishment. Exactly. And once we had that, and once we have that archetype, then as long as somebody else can feel that, as long as somebody else is leading those ideas, why would Trumpism, why would the MAGA movement, why would the America First, why would any of that disappear? That doesn't make any sense. Dylan said, moments like these make me want to watch Kyle Dunnigan's impression of Bill Maher. So spot on, it's eerie. Yeah, we actually didn't we just watch it yesterday? We had one from yesterday. Let's do that. We had his Christmas message. Let's do what he was doing on Rogan.
The Joe Rogan experience.
I'm the happiest when I'm working really hard on something.
Right? And when it's done, like when you make one of those videos and then you get a bunch of positive feedback from it, that's got to be amazingly satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, I do it for free. And also, like, Kurt Metzger helped with that last one. I just want to make sure.
Well, shout out to Kurt Metzger.
Kurt's fucking great.
Hilarious.
He's great.
And we're working on making a show, and it's like we're working so hard, and no one is even asking for it. But it's really.
You can't lie
when you said, "Oh, let's play it," he was like, "I'm leaving." He like threatened to leave if you played it. Diagnosed with celiac disease.
You're gonna be in the doctor after Bill Maher finds you.
Should I be scared of him? I should be.
He might get
shivering.
aggressive with you.
What would Bill Maher do? It's
Swing
it's so
right for your
funny.
dick.
Like, why would
Nothing?
Don't shoot my dick with cocaine.
Oh, fuck. All right, we'll go back to the Christmas song. His Christmas greeting.
'Twas the minute before my hooker gets here, and all through the house, my penis was stirring, because I just took a dick pill. So while we wait for my whore and my boner, I would like to take this minute to explain to Zillennials what being an adult is. It's when you take money you worked hard for at a job to give to a black hooker for her to twerk on your penis inside a house that.
Guys, he is dying here. He is dying here. Help me out. Help me out. We are a goose egg.
Isn't owned by your parents. I'm sorry, I forgot. Twerking isn't for giving a man a boner. It's for teaching women how to be CEOs. Okay, kids, you win. When my hooker gets here, we'll start things off with a land acknowledgement. I'll acknowledge I'm banging a black hooker on the unceded territory of the Chucapaca people. Then we'll learn each other's pronouns. Even though there's only two, pole or hole. If she's fat, I won't call the service to complain. I'll call Einstein and tell him gravity's wrong. I won't make her call me daddy because that would be patriarchy. Instead, I'll twerk on her dick.
Oh!
That wasn't sarcastic. That's how I come. Oh, my black hooker's here. Time to go. I want to thank my guest, Nikki.
Yikes. Well, it's like kind of creepy. Kinda. But only kinda, because it is spot on.
Yeah, it would be, so was George Washington
Spot on.
for his day.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, what a stupid comment. What is well, he's tall. Okay, Sam. We were talking about the president. Presidents are typically tall.
Yes, but even without them, Trumpism to me is a response to something we both talk a lot about, which is the insanity of the left. As long as one half of the country feels that even if they don't like Trump so much, we just can't let these crazy people take over, the people who don't know what a woman is.
Right.
You mean you 6 months ago?
You know, those that kind of stuff. The people who think we are living in this racist, patriarchal nightmare of a country, which we're not. We have issues. We have problems.
Do you think the pendulum is swinging back on that now?
Oh yeah. Arrows, and I guess there's nothing wrong with Safari. Safari is good. I just don't like the ostentatious display of trophies. The dead animal staring in the distance, upheld by a buffoon in khakis. Oh, so were you were, I mean, I was too, but you were one of the people who got mad about Cecil the lion, right? The dentist that went over to Africa to kill that lion. And then, people flipped out. And I was one of them. I flipped. I was like, "Oh, that's so horrible. These rich people just want to take their money and slaughter animals." And then you learn that it costs a lot of money to do that, and they give all that money to conservation. And a lot of times, at least the lions, the older lions will then start eating the cubs because there's not enough of them, and so you kill the older ones so that the younger ones can breed. You learn that it's not about having a trophy. It's about the hunt and all of that stuff. So I mean, sure, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's cool. But I mean, I don't know. I personally don't see. I see the negative attention towards that as a misunderstanding. So I'm not going to throw that on you. But I don't understand the issue. But you say you grew up, but now you're just saying that he gets downvoted for it. So if it's not wrong, then why does he get downvoted for it? Colleen Deverett said, statistically, presidents are significantly taller than average. So you ain't ever been president. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I will.
We've heard this for the last few years, and there are bits of evidence that it is.
But in the aftermath of the loss, do you think
We've actually had a test case that can answer this question, although we don't have the full answer yet. But Seth Moulton, you're familiar?
Yeah.
Congressman?
Yeah.
Okay. He said after the election something which you and I and any reasonable person in America would find not only benign, but completely uncontroversial. He said, I don't want my, I think, 12-year-old.
My daughter being run over by a, by a man. Yes.
Fair enough. Agree to disagree.
Yes, I don't want my 12-year-old daughter who played, whether it was field hockey or soccer or some girl sport in school, to be.
Nah, Cloudy, you're not an asshole. We're just having fun. And I am pretty short, right? TV Bushki said, I have a coworker that went to school with a daughter of the dentist that shot the lion. Oh, man. Give me the tea. What do you know? What do you know?
Be on the field with a biological male.
Right.
Who
Wait. I missed this one.
Your old daughter who played, whether it was field hockey or soccer or some girl sport in school, to be on the field with a biological male.
Right.
Is Sam going to pretend he has an issue with that?
Who could do a lot of damage, it's true. And immediately, I think it was his press secretary or maybe campaign manager or maybe both resigned.
Right. Yeah.
And there's where we are. That is the picture.
But he's still okay, right? Like, so he hasn't been canceled, right? So
no, but I don't. Maybe I missed it because I'm on vacation. But I don't hear him saying, "Good, let the door hit you in the ass."
Yeah,
you are what lost
the necessary piece.
This last election, and I'm glad you're going, and you're what's taking down this party, and you're nuts. And I
don't know what that means.
Here to say Democrats are not nuts.
Hey, have you seen Richie Torres speak?
Yes, I've had him on the show.
Oh, okay. So I missed that.
Yeah.
He seems great to me.
What's a so?
Seems like he's kryptonite to the far left.
I've seen him be great on some issues. Frank.
Oh no, I would. Equality and Difference on Rumble said, statistically, where are we? Statistically, presidents are significantly taller than the average, so you ain't never gonna be president. And that's a little bit of an asshole, but all in good fun. All in good fun. Oh, didn't you say that? How am I supposed to fucking know? All these fucking words that you people use, I don't fucking know. TV said, does Bill think he's carrying the Dems? Oof, the hubris. Yes, sir, he does. He's like, well, if everybody doesn't listen to me, then we're never going to win again, okay? Nobody likes the wokeness. All right, I have a brand new idea. Why don't you just let the girls play with the girls and the men play with the men? All right, it's not that hard. Rewind 6 months ago. Why are you getting so upset that a trans woman? Are you scared?
Far left.
I've seen him be great on some issues. Frankly, on the
retards.
One-on-one, we had him once, and I liked him a lot. Then he was on.
This is on Real Time or on the podcast?
Real Time.
Uh-huh.
And then he was on the panel, and I thought he looked green, young, way too careful.
Who are we talking about? Why do I keep missing the names they're talking about? Richie Torres. Okay.
Is it on Real Time or on the podcast?
Yeah, Real Time.
Uh-huh.
Well,
and then he was on the panel,
God, I know.
and I thought he was.
But you gotta just.
He looked green, young,
chill.
way too careful.
I saw,
but he's very young.
Yeah.
But I like him, and any Democrat who stands up for Israel, that takes guts, and he did it, and does it, and I think he's got a big future. I think he's really smart.
I mean, he's black, Latino, gay, and wants nothing to do with identity politics, which is
fair enough. Dylan said, boy howdy, the rich people discussing the plebs is one of my favorite genres of podcasts. Yep, dilly, because we are in for it. Calling Difference said, you sound like Thurston Howell III. I know that name. Thurston Howell III. Why don't I recognize that? Thurston Howell. Hold on. Thurston Howell III. I guess that. Let's see. Is that who we're talking about?
Nothing to do and nobody to do it with. You were saying something, old boy? Mr. Howell, now that I'm a member of the club, what can I do?
I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I don't hear it. The fuck is Cream Magazine? I don't hear the quality. I don't hear it at all. Do you guys hear it? Put a one in the chat if you think I sound like Thurston Howell. Wait, this guy, the actual Gillian, or the other guy? Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought you guys were talking about.
I had more fun as a club steward. Well, you haven't got the knack of being idly rich, you see.
You haven't got the knack of being idly rich, you see.
You should do like me, just snooze and dream, dream and snooze.
I do kind of hear it. I do kind of hear it. You just snooze and dream and the Bill Maher impression. A little closer to Thurston. All right, I got to keep working on it. I got to add some more smugness to it. Some more smugness. Okay. Certainly. All right, moving on.
Black, Latino, gay, and wants nothing to do with identity politics, which is...
Well, it's easy to...
What was the beginning of that sentence?
Yeah, I think he's takes guts, right, and he did it, and does it, and yeah, I think he's got a big future. I think he's really smart.
I mean, he's black, Latino, gay, and wants nothing to do with identity politics, which is...
Well, it's easy to say when you're all that.
That's right, yeah, but I mean, that's like, that's like, having the 20-sided dice, yeah.
It's like the rich guy who says...
But like, you just are saying that it's good that despite he has all these identity marker things, that he doesn't care about it. And then define him based on those things. Yeah, Richie Torres.
This money really doesn't matter. Yeah, because you have it.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the Democrats' biggest problems in electoral politics.
Yeah,
is that,
exactly, right? The diversity checklist. And again, in the context of saying, oh, he doesn't care about identity politics, using identity politics. The lime in the coconut and get all up.
One side doesn't give a shit at all about diversity, and one side is way too beholden to it and has to check boxes.
True. Didn't you just say that? Yeah, diversity checklist. Exactly. It's like only black and gay? Why not trans and disabled? Because they're racist. They're transphobic. TV said, I bet Sam Norbill donated to Richie Torres. I would take that. Well, no, I would be on your side. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Side is way too beholden to it and has to check boxes before they even think about who's going to be on the ticket. I mean, I said this, I think it was Eric Holder, but I said, can you even imagine a Democratic ticket without a person of color? He said, no. Now, maybe that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
But it is limiting.
Yeah.
It is very, very limiting. It means you are pulling from half the pool of talent and maybe not the pool.
Well, not even half. Well,
right.
I mean, it depends what you mean by color in that case. But
I see. Yeah.
Talking about black,
you know what?
14% of
right.
the
I
pool
see
of
what
talent.
you're saying. Yeah.
Why am I so off with the references tonight? Quality difference said, funny how the whole quality of one's character got deep sixed. What is deep sixed? I'm stupid. Sorry, help me.
But in politics, probably a little more is that number. But just in general, you're limiting yourself, and the other team just doesn't care. I mean, look at Trump. He just, although he did.
Yeah, Trump doesn't care. He just got shot in the face. Doesn't care. Doesn't care. Fire bad.
If one of his people is gay.
I've never heard deep six. Like 6 feet deep. I've heard put 6 feet deep. I've never heard deep sixed. Okay, killed and buried. Now you know. Put a one in the chat if you knew what that was. Put a one in the chat if you knew what that was. My YouTube viewers, if you knew what deep sixed was referring to being killed and buried, then put a one in the chat.
Who was it? Some important. Was it the Treasury Secretary? I think.
Oh,
it was a very un-Trump-like pick. He wasn't necessarily a loyalist, gay, and a former George Soros contributor.
Right. That surprised
I think
me.
he's Treasury.
Yeah. And I mean, I got to imagine there are conspiracy theorists getting a hold of that. I mean, because Soros is enemy number one over in.
He is, but I don't think in the Trump administration, I don't think enemy number one or enemy at all is gay.
Not gay, but
I don't think
about the Soros
I don't
piece.
think it's black. I
Right.
just don't
No.
think they don't kowtow. And maybe they should a little, because we do.
You should kowtow a little to the woke mob. It's good that you don't, because you don't have to defer to that, but you should a little bit.
What?
Make it make sense. Shout out to Quality of Difference, expanding the lexicon. Always love new ways to express myself. Dilly to you. All right, so at least I'm not the only one who's never heard that.
Need remedial steps still. We do have to take account of our horrible past. We just need to live in the year we're living in, is what I always say, as opposed to pretending that we need to be doing what we were doing in 1960 or something. Now, Trump people, maybe they go a little too far. I mean, I don't think there's any, maybe there's one person of color that he picked, but it's just not the way.
Vivek. There's, I mean, come on. Yeah, no. That was what I asked. You're the only, you and Equality are the only ones who knew what Deep Six meant.
Well, he thinks, and I don't know. One side is on too far one way, he's too far the other way. But generally, merit does need to make a comeback. Not that the people he picked have anything to do with merit.
Fair, but he believes they do. So you may disagree that Vivek and Elon and all these and JD Vance, they are they don't have merit. But that is the basis on which he picked them. You could disagree on their merit, but he still used merit and not skin color or other identitarian aspects.
It's really not. Yeah.
I mean he's
to a degree that is fairly.
Did I say?
We're so much better. That's why we got destroyed in this election. Yeah, right. And Sam has a lot of merit. Just ask him. He will tell you.
A bad example.
I mean,
Pete Hegseth, whatever.
Well, I mean, it's like, can we get more rapists in here? I mean, how is it that you?
Okay,
just,
well,
if you had to bet, that's our new poll. So, asking if you would vote for Don Jr., 83% of you said yes. So which side has more politicians that Epstein? If you know, you know. Dems or Republicans? Let's just see what you got to say. I know we're a little skewed, but I trust you guys to be honest here.
It's like, can we get more rapists in here? I mean, how is it that you?
Okay, well, that's a very strong word.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out what this person. I don't think this person.
So you call someone an arpist first, and then you find out.
I'll come forward because I mean, there's
the
a lot
Pete
of life to be
Hegseth
ruined.
woman, yeah.
I think it's given the woman freedom to come
forward. Would I
forward.
be shocked? I would not. But I also think in these incidents, since Bill Clinton has been credibly accused of doing the same thing as Trump has done. I mean, past just being handsy.
Right.
That since the Democrats never really seem to care about that, you've already lost the high ground on this issue.
Yeah.
You apparently only care.
There's a lesson in that. Don't lose the fucking high ground. I mean, like actually have integrity.
Imagine that. That's the lesson that Sam Harris has learned from the last 8 years. Have integrity. You needed to learn that extraneously after being a child and realizing that being genuine and having integrity is a good way to go about life. Like, what are we like? I don't know how you could sniff your farts anymore. Just, oh, we're so awesome. Oh God. Oh yeah. Oh God. Quality Difference said Clinton was credibly accused. Donnie was incredibly accused. Agreed.
I mean, it just seems like, I mean, where you start the clock is a judgment call. But like, okay, from this moment forward, whatever your party, if we're going to reboot the Democratic Party, let's practice sane politics. And sane politics is not reverse racism, right? It's not just hating whitey all the time, right?
Then why do you do it?
So it's
that's the key.
At a certain point, you have to stop apologizing.
The key to politics is not hating whitey. If only I knew that, then I mean, geez, we could have gotten so much further, Mr. Bill.
And for how fucked up the past was, and just find the people who are capable of moving forward with real integrity.
Unlike yourself.
That's the key.
Yeah.
I mean, race is the original sin of this country, and it's still with us in a big way, in every way.
It's with us, but I think we can
Only because y'all won't shut the fuck up about it.
we can solve the problem without focusing on race. So for instance,
Then stop focusing on race. You're literally preaching to the choir. Well, I mean, I guess a lot of people on the left do watch this show, so fair enough. You said the real problem for both parties is to stop stealing. Stealing? What do you mean stealing? Stealing just like money through taxes, or what are we talking about?
If there's I think there really is there are profound inequalities that are highly correlated with race in America, like wealth inequality, health outcomes.
Mostly money.
Mostly money. I mean, everything like
Mostly money, which makes it a class issue, not a race issue. Thank you, Equality.
Comes with money, right?
Because for years they couldn't have any money, and we've had generations.
Yeah, they think they're like, on the bleeding edge of political discourse with this.
Comes with money, right?
Because for years they couldn't have any money, and we've had generations of wealth.
Yeah, so I think it is still true to say that it's something like an eightfold difference in the average amount of familial wealth between white and black in America, right? So that's crazy, crazy serious, right?
Yeah. So yeah, there's everything. Fair enough.
If you were going to focus on class, if you're going to focus on wealth inequality and all of its entailments, education, health, etc.,
do that. Then you'll fix America. If you do that, then you'll fix America.
Then you would be disproportionately benefiting people of color without ever focusing on race as the variable.
Uh-huh. So you mean like based on merit and based on need instead of based on race, which is what we've been saying for the last 10 years, at least.
Right. And there's some things that the people who just want to make headlines don't acknowledge about this argument. One is this cannot be an 8-to-1 disparity in wealth cannot be addressed in a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's going to take
you're not yet.
Well, you just eat the rich. Just eat the rich and it fixes everything. Well, I said it's nothing to do with entitlement and low IQs. No, nothing. That's irrelevant.
You're not going to cut a check. I mean,
It's going to take a century. Some things just do. I'm sorry about the past. I personally didn't do it. And you're not going to get white people to, and it would bankrupt the economy if you.
Not to mention, it doesn't make sense to have people pay for a thing that they didn't do to people that didn't experience the thing that was done. The past is messy. Slavery was bad. You'll have a hard time finding somebody who is at least willing to publicly say that. People are not on the side of bring back slavery. But at some point, we have to be able to move forward. Nobody that was a slave. Nobody. And yes, I understand that there's disparities that were caused by the different laws and so on and so forth. But again, it wasn't always like that. That's a more recent thing. In the 50s, if I'm not mistaken, in the 50s, I forget what the actual stat is, but there was some, it might have been marriages kept together or home ownership. I don't remember exactly what it is, but per capita, black people were doing better than white people.
Actually gave what black people in general deserve. Yes. But again,
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Also, just being on the internet has made me dumber. I don't know. I think that, well, it definitely has dumbed down some aspects of the way that we interact and think about things and has made things very seamless. Smart. I don't know. I feel like I mean, obviously, I don't know you, but I feel like in general, most people know a lot more than the average adult from 50 years ago when there wasn't the internet. Maybe it's the basics. Yeah, maybe it's the basic, more important things that people don't know. You'll know all these facts about spider monkeys, but you don't know how to balance a checkbook. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
It's unworkable in all kinds of other ways.
And the people alive today
aren't the people.
Very often get conflated.
They're not the culpable people. Yeah.
The woke like to conflate the past with the present. The past was despicable, and the present has parts of it that are still needing remedial work, but it's not despicable. We have.
Then why do you support the people who say the exact opposite? I square that circle. Why do you do that? You just hate Trump that much.
Racists in this country. I don't think we're a racist country in general.
There you go. Internet's making me look good. I like that one.
I said it in my last editorial that the Democrats appeal to the voters as if they don't actually live here, as if they don't actually go out in the day.
Yeah, you don't go to a CVS and have to get your shaving kit under lock and key. You know, a jailer comes by to get you some razor.
And why is that, Sam Harris? Is that because there's just more evil people running around? Or does it have to do with democratic policies?
Too, but I meant racially. Yeah, they seem to think Americans.
Oh, you're still talking about race. Okay, I don't know. I thought we'd moved on. But
that too, but I meant racially. Yeah, they seem to think Americans live in this country where they go out in the day and they're seeing racism.
Right.
You know, like
cross burnings in front of the Starbucks.
The Starbucks is saying we don't serve your kind to people. You know, it's just like we.
If that was the case, I would be way more sympathetic to them. But it's not.
Have issues to work out, but basically, we're a fairly successful multiracial society. And
well, here's a I mean, maybe this won't be provocative to you, but it's in Wokistan, this is provocative. I think if we could just magically,
you mean your hometown,
remove every racist from our society, virtually nothing would change of substance. It's like
I think that's based.
Virtually nothing would change. Every racist from. I think if we could just magically remove every racist from our society, virtually nothing would change.
I agree. That's a pretty base statement. Why the fuck you're so obsessed with race and racism? Thinking that, I have no idea, but agreed. Like, yeah, things would change, but most of the issues that we have, because of the fact that they're not based on race, wouldn't change.
Of substance. It's like there'd still be the same number of murders in Chicago this weekend.
Right.
There'd still be the same wealth inequality. There'd still be educational disparities. We still have lots of problems to solve. And we would recognize that for...
It's not about race. It's about class. Exactly. Hey, shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips. Welcome to the party. Yep. So the Dems are winning in the worst possible way of our poll. Which side has more politicians than Epstein? As Carl said, Dems love to Epstein. I think there's definitely some fucking, I don't even know the word. What's the word that I'm just horrible, awful people. I don't even have the word for what I'm trying to think of. But, Epstein, Diddy level people on both sides of the aisle in politics. We know that for sure. But, Dems order pizza. I said I'm a total racist, not a bigot. Simply racist.
Disparities, we still have lots of problems to solve. And we would recognize that for virtually nothing was the problem, that there was a racist standing in the way, anchoring that problem.
Yes. And of course, there are people listening to this now saying, how dare two white men talk about it, about it, let alone
I can say, go fuck yourself.
Hey, there we go. Carl's Frosted Tips. 2 hours in, starting us off. A $2 make you holla. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. We've been a little dry tonight, so that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very much appreciated. Thank you, sir.
Two white men talk about it, about it, let alone
I can say, go fuck yourself.
Me too.
Oh, Mr. Tough Guy. Oh, I'm going to say whatever I want. I don't care. Yeah, right. Two rich white men.
Come on, man.
But again, even to make that statement, like I appreciate that they want to be sensitive to the plight of the black man and whatever they're trying to do. But to not be able to discuss the topic without what's the word? Kind of just pointing out, acknowledging that, we are the white guys. Just talk about the thing. You just went on a whole tirade about how race is not that big of a deal in terms of the grand problems in America. But it's still so important to be like, well, we're rich and white and like, just say it. Just say it. Congress said the word you're looking for, horrible, awful person, is Democrat. When you're right, you're right. When you're right, you're right. We got, I mean, yeah, you know what? I have no problem with white men, black men, whatever. But it's just weird that y'all are all, not y'all, but they're all so fucking obsessed with it. You're cool too, bro. Even though you're not Indian, I think you can stay.
Because we're speaking the truth, you know, and of course, the people who know this better than anybody are black people. Like I've heard
who voted in record numbers for Trump because
still not a lot.
No, but
just record,
but
co-parter.
I mean, he got half of the male Latino vote. But but no, I mean, I've heard woke people say things like, you know, black people are hunted when they leave their house. That somebody has to stand up to that kind of thing, like the implication being by racists, as you're talking about, or the
racist cops,
the racist cops. And it's true, there are some black people who are hunted when they leave their house. They're gang members in places
gang members,
who are being hunted.
I mean, based Bill Maher. Again, broken clock. When you're right, you're right. There are black people getting hunted when they walk out of their house because they're gang members. Well said. Not perfect timing for this comment, but in general, absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Who are hunted when they leave their house. They're gang members in places who are being hunted by other gang members because they insulted their sneakers or something. You know, or they're on their drug territory.
But we care so much about not offending black people that we can't say that. Claudia Deverett said, I'm white and heterosexual, so I'm evil. Them's the rules. I don't make them. Them's the rules. Oh, no. Oh, no. There's another word that I don't know. What is Italy? Are we talking about Italy? I don't know. What does that mean?
Or something. You know, or they're on their drug territory. We could make so much progress in this racial area if we would just do three things. John McWhorter talks about them. End the drug war, better schools, and teaching kids something, especially in shitty schools where a lot of black kids go, and more daddies.
Yup, definitely more daddies. TV said, skip ahead to the part where they tell us to eat cake. Well, I mean, in the last 3 minutes, they seem to have, hit on something, whether they understand it, whether they believe it, whether they know it or not. I mean, I'm gonna call it like it is. They have been right in the last 3 sentences that they've made. But they eventually will tell us to eat cake.
Family. That's also a completely incendiary, Candace Owens level point.
What is she?
Just
how dare she? How dare you? Candace Owens is such a bad person for citing statistics.
Just putting the onus on single parent households. I mean, I think it's something like 70% of the births in the black community are to single moms, right?
And she's
just like, that's your fucking problem, fellas.
Yep. Do you have another issue, or are you just going to go back to that's racist?
Candace is black, obviously,
right.
So she's.
And again, like, you guys are fucking obsessed with this shit. Every little thing that you say comes back to race. It's so weird. Even in the context of saying we shouldn't focus all about race, it's about class. You still can't get away from bringing everything back to race. Oh man, Carl, you don't know. Bill, Sam Harris says, I hate to have to speak so negatively about him, but he was part of the New Atheists. So that was his claim to fame, being an atheist. But I really appreciated his work because he studied neuroscience. He's a doctorate in neuroscience. He also spent a lot of time with spiritual leaders of different types with like Buddhists and different kinds of monks going on retreats and stuff. And so he wrote a book called "Waking Up: A Guide to Spirituality Without Religion." And so that was a really pivotal book for me. And then, I mean, a couple other books that he read, pivotal. And then he decided to talk about politics. And here we are. Are you, see, now I don't know what that is. What is it? Are you, Potemkin? What kind of food? Is it Indian food? Number one, I don't eat Indian food, so I don't know what the fuck that is. And that sounds like, I don't know, maybe like Yiddish or something. Don't hate me, all right? I can't know everything all the time, all right? Carl said the white liberal is the most racist person on earth. Bingo. Yup.
She doesn't quite have the problems that you and I are now going to inherit as a result of this conversation.
She's black, so she doesn't necessarily have the problems that you and I, the rich white men, have. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, a caller's saying he's Indian with a dot. So is this some fucking feather Indian shit? I don't know what the fuck this is. Okay, now you're taking us on a side quest. Now you're taking us on a side quest. Is this what I'm supposed to be looking at? No, you said it was food. We may refer to dishes served in the restaurant in Berlin? Why the fuck would I be expected to know German or Russian food? What? Why would I be expected to know German and Russian food? Goddamn right. I'm an American. What's wrong with you? I'm an American. No, I'm an Indian American. We call it Culver's? Yep, never heard of it. 7-Eleven, thank you, come again. Didn't you ask that during the raid? Didn't you ask that during the initial TSN raid? I remember somebody asking that, and I'm pretty sure it was you. Just getting your fun in, huh?
She doesn't quite have the problems that you and I are now going to inherit as a result of this conversation. But it's obviously so, right? It's like it's just not. I mean,
and it wasn't always so.
Glad to entertain equality.
It wasn't always so.
In the black community.
Yeah.
So something did change.
Yeah.
I think some people think that it was always thus, or that maybe it's even gotten better. But no.
How dare you?
That number was not nearly that high.
It did get worse, yeah.
And then, so maybe we should just look at that. But I think that's kind of anathema to the left because it implicates like the Great Society. And
my feeling now is that as a heuristic, I just think that any mention of race in virtually any context is almost always, these are all these modifiers, counterproductive.
But you won't stop talking about it. Projection. You've been talking about race for the last 15 minutes. And then you say any discussion about race is counterproductive. Then go home. Like, I'm pretty racist. Well, hey.
And paradoxically, they want to make everything about race.
Right. Yeah.
Everything's about
Who's they? Y'all just did it.
race, but don't mention.
You brought up a statistic that has to do with fatherhood, which applies across races. And then because Candace Owens is one person who cites that statistic, well, she's black. It's so weird. It's so weird. He said, in politics and economics, a Potemkin village is a construction, literal or figurative, whose purpose is to provide an external facade to a situation to make people believe that the situation is better than it actually is. Okay. So like a lie. Caller said, I can't be racist. I identify as blacker than Wesley Snipes. There you go. Racism disappears. You said the term comes from the stories of fake portable village built by Gregory Potemkin, a field marshal and former lover of Empress Catherine II, solely to impress the Empress during her journey to Crimea. Thank you for the citation. I'm still pissed that you fucking made me feel like I should know that.
They want to make everything about race.
Right. Okay.
Everything's about race, but don't mention it.
Well, I mean, projection, again.
There's no one who cares as much about race as
you two
progressives in American society, other than if you migrate right to look for your colleague in this racial fixation, you have to go all the way to the Ku Klux Klan, all the way to white supremacists and neo-Nazis. Those are the people who care about race as much as the woke progressives.
It's a little like how much Republicans care.
Shout out to Equality and Deference. Thank you for hanging out. You have a good one. And yeah, they're fucking nerds. They're fucking losers.
Care about gay. Some of them think about.
Wait, what?
It's a little like how much Republicans care about gay. Some of them think about gayness a lot. You almost have to be a gay man to think about it as much.
I agree. I agree. I think some of the people on the right are in the same way that it is like an obsession for the wokies to talk about race. I think the gay stuff gets really, really burrowed in the brains of especially Christians. Not everybody, but you definitely see it where everything is so quickly attributed to that. The same way they're doing here with race.
It's kind of the same.
Yeah. Although I think that's probably not so much the case. I think we've won. I feel like we did win that battle, and that's not getting walked back. But who knows? I mean, there are theocrats who are still waiting to win that argument. But what's amazing is that so for you and me, what is amazing is that we have not had the bandwidth to even think about Christian
anything beyond race,
fundamentalism, and theocracy in the last decade, given all of the political mishigas that Trump has brought in. I mean, like he's empowered the theocrats, and it's been this kind of quiet,
QAnon is a
there's all kinds of
quasi.
The theocrats.
Put a 1 in the chat if you know anybody who could even be considered QAnon.
Are getting what they want, but we're not talking about them or even thinking about them in most cases.
But I worry that when he's gone, they're still there.
Oh yeah,
and he gets a pass.
We ain't going nowhere.
He got a hall pass from the theocrats.
He's not even. I mean, not even.
Oh, he's talking about theocrats.
Remotely plausibly a Christian, and yet he's their instrument.
Excuse me, Sam. Have you read your Bible? He's a Cyrus figure.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know who Cyrus is?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Cyrus. Mr. Smart.
Who? He said yes. He laughed at your joke. You're such a dick, Bill Maher.
Cyrus the Great?
Yes, Cyrus the Great.
Yeah.
What did he do? He freed the Jews. He wasn't a good person himself, but he did a good thing. He was a vessel of God.
Instrument of the Lord, yeah.
Freeing Jews? We don't like that.
He was an instrument of the Lord, so we don't care that he wasn't even a Jew.
I think I told you I asked Ralph Reed about this the first time around, like this is like 2016. I was at a conference. I ran into Ralph.
Yeah, I've had him on the show.
As people remember, he's a in good standing among evangelicals, evangelical thought leader. And
thought leader.
So this was at the moment where they had completely gone all in for Trump. And I said, Ralph, I mean, he had just stood up there and said, Corinthians 2, and and it was asked for his.
I still quote that when he says Corinthians 2. That is the biggest or the strongest evidence that Trump has never read a Bible ever.
Favorite book of the Bible, and he said, I wouldn't want to offend anyone. It was clear that he.
Come on, man. Nobody who's ever picked up a Bible and has read it around other people has said Corinthians 2. TV said he freed the Jews, but hey, he banged a porn star. Well, I mean, we got to get rid of him then. Arrow said MI5 is the same as QAnon. I don't know. QAnon being just like the people who thought that Trump was sending them secret messages about how he was going to take over again over the last 4 years. So again, Case in point, like we don't even really know what the fuck we're talking about because that's so underground and so just not present. Whereas you talk about Antifa everywhere.
He didn't know any of the books of the Bible, and so I asked Ralph, like, Ralph,
as do most most people. Most people don't know anybody who is that far down the rabbit hole. And anything you have, you're gonna have people who are crazy. That is not at all a reflection on Trump or Trump supporters or conservative values or any of those things.
he doesn't know anything about Christianity. He's not thought about this at all. He's not a Christian. He's like, how are you supporting him? And he just went immediately to, I don't know what's in another man's heart. And they rationalized it. They knew they had how to deal with him.
Sam, you're such a cynic. Yeah. First of all, Trump was the 45th president of the United States. You know what passage King Cyrus is? Kings 45.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can't argue with science, Sam.
Exactly, yeah.
That's it. He's the chosen one.
Yeah, well, I stand corrected. It's all going according to plan.
How much do you remember about the Babylonian captivity?
Personally?
No, from history. What year?
I'm going to put that at 600 BC.
586 BC. Right. Pretty good.
That was close.
Shout out to Questlove.
And the king was
Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah.
Is that what we're doing here? We're just quizzing each other on Bible stuff. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
At Jew hunting, is it not? Thing that's going on in the world.
That's 600 years later.
What do you think about all the Jew hunting that's going on in the world? I see in Amsterdam they're now calling it Jew hunting, which has faint echoes of the worst. Is it not?
So, Jeff, this is very interesting. Said it's not possible to know who is and isn't a Christian unless they reject Christianity. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And I think that is the issue with religion being so prevalent in politics, that Trump can just say that he's a Christian now. Russell Brand can just say he's a Christian now. Nala Ray, the former OF model, can just say she's a Christian now. And everybody gives deference. Oh, amazing. Oh, you've changed your life. You're one of us now. Like, what if I told you that wait. Now, I'm a Christian too. Would you reject that? Or would you accept that? I am a Christian now. Actually, let's go to a poll. So, which side has more politicians that Epstein? 75% of you said the Dems, and I agree. So I am so we'll just do Lutch is a Christian now. Agreed? Disagree? Or I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if it's that easy to just grift.
Which has faint echoes of the worst. Is it not? Am I wrong? Am I reading into that between the lines? Jew hunting?
Again, I mean, this is one of these situations analogous to what I just said about race. I do feel like we can get virtually everything we want, not focusing on anti-Semitism and focusing on a defense of Western values. It's like, so again, the analogy is, so with race in America, I think if you focus on wealth inequality, I think that tide lifts all boats, or the boats you want to lift.
Then stop focusing on racism.
Think with anti-Semitism, I mean, this is
just identity politics in general. God damn it.
Perhaps there's some serious caveats here, perhaps, but generally speaking, everything that's wrong with anti-Semitism is a symptom of this larger problem where everyone left of center can't figure out how to defend Western values from.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It all springs from that.
Yeah.
That somehow Western values themselves are tainted again because, to me, the root of this is the kids don't know anything because they don't teach anything in school. So if you don't know anything, what's the one thing you can know? Black and white.
Yeah.
Literally black and white.
Yeah.
I think, therefore I am.
That's as deep as they get. So in that world where there's black and white bad, black good, one's the oppressor, one's the oppressed.
One vote, that's it.
Everything has to fit into that. and Israel.
You guys don't seem to be feeling this this stream.
Rich, white, even though like half of them are not white.
Literally the only black people are Ethiopian Jews fighting for the IDF in that context.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, Jews that are Sephardic or
they're indistinguishable from the Arabs. I mean,
right, indistinguishable.
Yeah, and half the Mizrahi Jews have cut. I mean, they're talking about Jews who were kicked out of all the neighboring countries, Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and Morocco. I mean, like you've got that's probably half the population of Israel.
Right.
And no one's worried about their right of return.
Again, my thesis, black and white. That's all you know. In that worldview, where white bad, where they don't sometimes teach, they don't teach a lot of stuff that they used to teach because it was written by white people. Even though maybe it would be worth reading Thomas Locke.
Yeah.
Maybe he did write something, or John Locke, whatever.
John Locke, yeah.
Okay.
John Locke.
Thomas Hobbes. I'm sure there are other people, Rousseau. Yes, people whose ideas became the Enlightenment ideas, which are the actual ideas that make marginalized people's lives better, like equality and protection of minorities and democracy and scientific inquiry and individual liberty.
I don't get the question. Jeff said, it's like judging another person's pain. I can say, I think you're faking it. I can say you aren't acting like you're in pain, but I don't know. Fair enough. But the problem with that is then if I now start preaching my version of Christianity, then I can influence people in a negative. Don't you feel like there should be some mechanism before we're just like, okay, yeah, I'm just whatever you say. How is that any different than the gender stuff? How is that any different than I say I'm a woman now? How is that any different?
Sorry that white people thought of some of this stuff, but in that world where you don't even teach that, of course, they're not going to defend Western values because values is a concept. You have to think a little above the immediate black and white. So that's what we're dealing with. We're working on not what used to be considered such a lofty level, the level of concepts, as opposed to just identity. Anyone can see the identity. But really, that's why I don't think they value Western concepts anymore and Western values, and they don't defend them. They just defend the people who are oppressed, even if the oppression is coming from those people. Who is more oppressive in this world? As long as we're going to get in trouble anyway.
The theocrats and Islam,
Muslim men in general, like in their personal lives, with their relations.
They're coming. I keep telling you.
With women. I mean,
that's the thing that's so.
Not all Muslim men, I'm not saying, and certainly not the ones in America, but that's why people come to America. But around the world,
theocrats,
women are not considered equal.
Well, I mean, the thing that's so crazy making about it is that it's not like it's logical within its context, and therefore it's easy to see how people are so confused. It's completely illogical even within its own context. Like if what you care about are the rights of women, right? You want women to be treated as equals to men. Like that's your starting, like the Women's March, right? Like, let's get 1 million women to march on DC, and you want equality, right? Totally understandable. I'm with you, sisters. How is it that you imagine that having one of the 3 people who are anchoring this march, you have a veiled woman who's this theocratic bully and anti-Semite and friend of Louis Farrakhan, right? And you imagine that the veil is a symbol of female empowerment, right?
Yes, it should be worn with the Queers for Palestine T-shirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
I said, do not abscond your manhood, please. There is a death of men enough as it is. Agreed.
Just as a visual of like how ass backwards these people's thinking, how confused they are. But of course, they're just going to hate us for saying that and not really see what we're saying.
They more likely will not.
Poor you. Oh, you're so oppressed.
Even hear us saying it. But
yeah. Do you ever worry about that you're just preaching to the converted, or do you feel like you are converting? I feel like I'm converting. So.
The idea is certainly spread. I mean, I think the time course of their spread is smeared out over time. I mean,
Jeff said there isn't an organ that separates Christians or non-Christians. It said that that was why Jews circumcised, so there's outward proof. I mean, at least then there's some litmus test. If it's something that serious, if it's something that important, then I would feel like we would want to, at the very least, say, I don't believe you until you show some type of works. I don't see why that's unfair, especially if it's somebody who has spoken out against the church and against Christianity, against, well, I mean, I don't really speak against Jesus, but I like if there's somebody who is speaking against these things or acting in direct defiance, absolutely, people can change their lives, people can change their ideologies and all of that. But when it comes to people who are thought leaders, when it comes to people who have a following, who have a platform, it seems like, I'm using this reference lightly because I've never seen Star Wars, but it's like the fucking thing with the Death Star, where it's like the horrible design flaw. Again, I don't understand how you, like, again, I completely agree with everything that you've said here, Jeff. That being said, how then do you determine the difference between somebody who is acting genuine when they are preaching to people? If it's an individual just living their own lives, then whatever. But if we're like, what if it's your pastor? What if it's your president? What if it's your whatever, some leader where the integrity of their faith actually does matter? And you're just like, well, he said it, so I mean, yeah, and exactly what they say, what they do, and I mean, you could still grift, you could still be a grifter. I could be a very good at acting like I was converted back to Christianity. I could do great with that. It would be so easy. It would be so easy because there's no desire for the truth. It seems it doesn't matter if somebody actually believes this. It just matters that they say the right things. That's what y'all are telling me.
You don't know when people are going to stumble upon the thing you said 5 years ago. But it does. I mean, I wouldn't, if it felt pointless, I wouldn't do it. But it certainly doesn't feel pointless.
And no,
I constantly meet the people who's thinking,
yeah, me
change,
too. It's valuable. And I also think that if I would analogize the media to politics, there's often a call for a third party in politics,
which I have never felt anything but skepticism about. It just seems like it just seems like too heavy a lift.
But here's where I'm going with this. In politics, it doesn't really work. Not in this country, the way it's set up. If we were a parliamentary democracy, it'd be different. Right. You could have multiple parties. In this system we have, one of them is always a third party, if it becomes successful, will then be co-opted by one of the two parties.
I actually agree with that. And that being said, though, I do wonder if having multiple parties is, let's just say that it seems like there's pros and cons. It seems like there's pros and cons, and everybody acts like the two-party system is terrible, and it is. But I'm curious as to how much the will of the people would actually be increased in terms of what happens and what plays out in politics if we had multiple parties. It seems like there would just be a smaller group of people who would win. Right now, it's essentially, not exactly, it's essentially 50-50. Right? We have, you have your Democrats and you have your Republicans, and everybody doesn't fall squarely in those boxes, but it's, it's one or the other. And so you're going, what the winning side is going to be the majority of the country. But if you have 6 different parties, then and only one wins. Now you have 5 parties full of people that all lost. So I don't necessarily know if it is the best thing. I definitely, I've gone back and forth on ranked choice voting. In where, like, you'd say, okay, I would put Trump as my number 1, Vivek as my number 2, and whoever else as my number 3. And then they do the calculus and see what would be the who would be the winner. Because somebody who you put as number 2 could still be a winner based on what other people are voting for. But I've then heard that a lot of people will again, now you're spreading out the what people are actually pushing for. And I guess it's a matter of, are you going to cut what people are voting for, what they are able to vote for before or after? I said I don't side with one political side or another. I stopped casting my vote when I was under 25. Well, all right, fair enough. I mean, I'm 35 and I've only voted twice, so can't say much, but I do definitely think that there is, the fact that Trump won the popular vote is such a powerful statement that, again, if I hadn't voted, it's not like he wouldn't have won. But if everybody thought like that, then, where would we be? So I don't know. It's tough because to act like my vote is so powerful and I actually am moving where the country is going based on this one piece of paper is silly. Of course not. There's just too many people for any one vote to count that much. But it's grains of sand that makes a heap, right? It's grains of sand that makes a heap. All right, guys, it doesn't seem like everybody is super excited for this one. That's cool. We can't always be on the cutting edge, but I do very, very, very much appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Big shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips for sponsoring the stream. And we'll see if anybody shows up to the after party. But once again, this is Marty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.